sun's fierce light, a figure stands tall in the dead of night. Shadows crawl, but he doesn't sway, a sentinel guarding the break of day. Words like fire burn through the air, a defender of dreams and the world's despair. Facing storms with an unyielding grin, the fight for truth always starts within. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight. The world quakes as the battle ignites. Through the smoke, he's a vision of might. Foes gather aiming from every side, but he moves with purpose and endless pride. Try to break him with venom and lies, but he soared like an eagle, piercing the skies. A symbol of hope when the night is long, a melody rising, a defiant song. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight.
من هدف مشروع ایران هستند. آمریکا با این اقدامی که انجام داد علیه ایران و حریم هوایی ایران را شکست و جنایت علیه ایران انجام داد، دیگه جایی در منطقه غرب آسیا نداره. آقای رئیس جمهور آمریکا، شما شروع کردید و ما تمومش خواهیم کرد.
I mean, it's just insane. Well, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time.
Good evening, America. Unless you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good evening, folks. I come to you tonight live from central Pennsylvania. The United States has fired bunker buster bombs and Tomahawk missiles at the 3 key Iranian nuclear sites earlier this evening, announced at about 7:46 exactly this evening on Truth Social by President Trump. In a brilliant deception campaign, operational security tighter than any administration since probably the Second World War. Unbelievable scrutiny on this. Well done by the Trump administration, closing those leaks. And well done in battlefield deception, misleading people into being suckers and believing something that wasn't true. When people told me there were planes en route to Guam, I said, that's odd, unless it's to send China a message. Guam will not be the location from which they will bomb Iran. And that wasn't. Apparently, aircraft also flew from the same airbase in Missouri on a 15-hour flight towards Iran in the opposite direction, flying east, and hit the targets, 3 targets. In addition to 30 Tomahawk missiles likely launched from an Ohio-class submarine in the Arabian Gulf this evening. Iran's nuclear capability, according to some insiders, is finished. I doubt that's true. We'll have to see as we go forward. But welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. And I will read to you President Trump's Truth Social message from earlier. This evening, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran's airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace, in all caps. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That occurred at just 2 hours ago, folks, and he will go live in about 9 minutes. We'll be covering that conference on the channel here. Let me put this in perspective here. Iran has the ability to strike back with terror attacks through its proxies and its hidden cells here in the United States and around Western Europe, as well as the Houthis, the Hezbollah, and Hamas, which is what they've been doing for years. The Iranian state TV claimed that the United States started this conflict. That is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. In 1979, the Iranians attacked and occupied the United States embassy grounds in Tehran, taking prisoner Americans for 444 days. They began this war. They were then behind the bombing that killed 264 Americans at the Beirut Marine Barracks on a peacekeeping mission to help the Lebanese. They murdered Americans there and Lebanese. And they're behind numerous other attacks, plus failed assassination attempts against the President of the United States, the current president. This, make no mistake, is a fascist, Islamo-fascist regime. It is a regime that had started a war against the United States 46 years ago, and successive presidents sat on their ass and did nothing about it. And Republicans and Democrats. Finally, America returns fire against this evil crowd. Evil, evil crowd. So welcome back, folks. And let's make no mistake about this whatsoever. If the United States wanted a war with Iran, we would have bombed Tehran tonight. We would have bombed all the oil and gas refinery facilities down on the coast of the Arabian Gulf. We would have destroyed Iran's infrastructure and led Iran into destitution and starvation. President Trump never would have issued a warning on the 17th of June for people to get the hell out of Tehran. President Trump looks for no fatalities. He wants no people to die. He's only trying to stop Iran's nuclear program. That's all. For those who will run their mouths and talk about the president, claim this and claim that, you cannot deny that we have the capability to hit anywhere at any time with anything we want, and we showed incredible restraint tonight. So we already have Thomas Massi, a moron in Congress, saying this is unconstitutional. Hey, dingbat, doorknob, dipshit, it's not unconstitutional. It's under the president's authority. And that was further clarified with the effort to restrain the president's authority with the War Powers Act. The president has all the authority to do what he did tonight. Sit down, shut up, go back to Kentucky, bend over a chair, and get your bum whipped by a 12-year-old girl because you're about as bright as a 2-watt light bulb, Thomas Massi, another moron in Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, someone has stood up. Now, I know what you're going to say. Israel is standing up, but Israel is they're mosquito pinpricking. Tonight, 15,000-pound bombs dropped on nuclear facilities, obliterated these sites. I don't know what's left. We don't know. We'll have to wait for battle damage assessment to see what's going on there. But President Trump showed amazing restraint tonight, and in his message is calling for peace. But the mullahs made it clear. They're in Switzerland. We have nothing to talk about. The Americans approached us with urgent requests to discuss things. We have nothing to talk about. That's what they said. You're right. We have nothing to talk about. Deborah Kenny, Israel sucks. Well, thank you for your opinion there, Debbie. That's so insightful. Thank you. You get that from Encyclopedia Britannica, from your endless research, your dissertation, your doctoral thesis. Tell us what exactly Israel sucks in what way there, Debbie? Did they pee in your cornflakes at some point? All right, let me say hello to everybody here quickly because we got the president coming on in 5 minutes. Dan Bailey's here. Courtney McBride, Voldy. Then Shawnee Groves is here. Tian Baker, Jane S., Winston Smith, Colbus Hugo, Alfonso Ferreira, Gene S., The Thing of Nouns, Buster B, Martinez Butz, Relaxing Positive Energy, Raina Fletch, Richard Kuhn, ET Garden Services, Pierre, Fabian Bridger, Hanika Thron, Golda Kruger, Caustic Chameleon, welcome to you. Ben Scaff, been a while since I've seen you. What's this meaning of the Church of Wyatology? I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Just came off a night shift and saw the news. Okay, JJ Pretorius. Could not sleep. Excited to hear what's next. Yeah, we'll hear what's next. Well, we can't sleep much in South Africa this time. They come into our property. The good point, Golda. Emiratia Dietrichs, welcome to you. And, okay. So, Dogzilla's back. Somehow running Trump's decision making. Oh, please, give me a freaking break. Where do you people get these conclusions from? Running Trump's decision making. If he was running Trump's decision making, then we would have been striking Iran in 2017, not in 2025. Get real. Get real. 8 guys jumped the fence 3:30. Wow, Dirk. Horrible, man. All right, let me see if we've got Trump up yet. Going to have to. There it is. Okay, we'll start shortly. So let me get it up, and as soon as it's live, we'll go live with it, okay? Let's make sure I've got the right. No, that's not the right window, so I'm going to have to move it. Give me a second here, folks. I've got lots of news here. News stories. We'll cover the news stories after his press conference. We'll hear what the president's got to say. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So let's put this over here. All right, and then I can bring this back here, and then I can reduce that, and then, all right, so now we should be good. All right, so we'll begin shortly. So once they start, we'll hear that. Huge Trump supporter, but I'm worried about us doing this. I love the guy and would have voted for him again, but why is it always us that has to do something? Well, Mark, do you prefer a suitcase bomb be delivered to Miami and it wiped off the face of the earth? Because that's the stage we're at. That's the stage we're at. 30 years of dithering have got us to this stage. Israel prevented Iraq from developing a nuclear weapon in 1981 by bombing their facility, flying F-16s with an incredibly daring mission. And here we are, 40 years later, Iran on the verge of deploying nuclear weapons. Shan, welcome to you. Congressmen keep saying things that are unconstitutional when it's not there. And supposedly, yeah, they're supposedly lawyers. They're just dummies. Anyway. No, said started striking Iran ahead of U.S. negotiations. He did drag Trump in this. No. Dude. See, when this talk came up about, what's going on, all I said was, look, Trump just put a line in the sand and he gave Israel 2 weeks to complete the mission. Knowing full well that probably wasn't the case, but that's all I could disclose, So here we are. It's not good news. No need to take my word for it, says Dan. Well, and what is good news? Iran dropping a bomb at an airport? Is that good news? Is that good news? I ask you, honestly, is that good news? This country launched a war against us 46 years ago. And they have murdered hundreds of Americans, if not thousands of Americans, over the past 46 years. And what has been our response? Virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. And yes, there it is in the background. What's that? ANC shaking their boots. Yeah, they better be shaking their boots and get a message. This is for real. Oh, you're talking about the plaque, the 100,000 plaque. There it is. There's the 100,000 plaque, folks. I haven't posted. Did I post the video? I know I loaded it. I don't know if I posted it. Let me see. Let me see if I post. I don't think I posted it yet. Let me see. No, I didn't even load it yet. I just, yeah, I've got to load it up. So, yeah, it's not loaded yet. I'll load a little bit later on. So, yeah, the silver plaque. Yep, it's there. It's there, ladies and gentlemen. That's correct. You are correct. Good observation there. Just like with Iraq, we will quickly see that Iran is more bark than bite. Yeah, well, they will try a terrorist attack. Somebody will unfortunately die in this. Strues Bob, my goodness, how long have you been missing? Good to see you again. Nice and shiny YouTube plaque. Well earned. Well, thank you for that. I misspoke earlier. I talked about this, because it says, do you remember your first subscriber? My first subscriber, I don't, because it was on my original channel in 2006. It was taken away, which later restored. This is actually the second channel I created of the 5 or 6 YouTube channels I have. So I misspoke earlier when you haven't seen that. That's a video that I recorded. How much approval does Trump need from Congress to strike this? 0, Stefan. He needs no authority from Congress. He has all the authority in the world. That was clarified with the War Powers Act in 1973 or 75. Anyway. He'll be addressing the nation on camera, not a letter to the media. Yeah. We don't have the auto pen. We don't have AI with a fake White House set because he's lying in his bed. We actually have a president sitting in the Oval Office. I assume he's in the Oval Office. We'll see where he's at. It'd be cool if he was in the Situation Room. That would show us Situation Room. Yep. Huge Trump supporter, but I'm worried about us doing this. Okay, Mark says. Prayers from South Africa. Thank you, Joe Furry. Just like with Iraq, we will quickly see that. Okay. Trump got new intel. Yes, it did, Caustic, 100%. Also, Iran made it very clear they're not interested in negotiation. They're in Switzerland. They said, we have nothing to discuss with the Americans. We're only here because the Americans sent us urgent messages trying to talk to us, but we have nothing to discuss with Americans. They're part of the criminal action against Iran. That's what they said. They said they're not going to talk to us. So what's the point of waiting 2 weeks? Give them 2 more weeks to get somewhere. Yep, no point waiting 2 weeks when they said it today. They said it yesterday in Switzerland. They made it clear that they're not there to negotiate. So why did they go? Could Iran have gotten uranium from South Africa? They could have gotten it from anywhere. Thank you, Mark. Does anyone forget about 12/11? Well, I haven't forgotten about the 180 missiles launched into Israel in October of last year. Will nuclear attack outfall reach us? Just running. Well, no one's doing a nuclear attack, Emerencia. So, but yeah, it's unlikely you would be affected in South Africa, even if there was one. Can't understand how people support these global terrorists and the threats they pose. Neither can I, Martinez. I don't understand either. People talking about bad things about Israel. What has Israel done to anybody here? Israel was attacked. Israel was attacked. And Israel was attacked in October of last year, and they restrained the response until now, giving peace a chance. But the Iranians don't want peace. They want to wipe Israel, Europe, and Americans off the face of the earth. And they've murdered thousands of us. So this is long overdue. And notice, once again, that President Trump did not attack Tehran. He did not attack the oil and gas refining facilities to cripple their economy. He did not attack the power grid. He did not attack their networks. Nothing was attacked except their nuclear production sites. That's it. Didn't target their leadership. Didn't target their military. Okay, the president's coming. He won't be in the Oval Office. He's standing at the end of the hallway. Okay, here we go. It's flanked by the Vice President, Secretary of State.
Thank you very much.
And Defense.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Yep.
That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight. Not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's it. Rather brief statement, actually, from the White House, President Trump, with the Vice President, Secretary of State, and Secretary of Defense with him. All right, so we'll have a briefing from Hegseth tomorrow. So correct, Army 3275. Yes, yes, you were wounded with an improvised explosive device in Al Anbar province provided by Iran. Yep, Iceman said, dude's never been to church. That wasn't a photo op. Okay, Iceman, you want to moan and whine, that's fine. But you're sitting here talking stupidity. Your first concern is the midterms. You're not a patriot. You're not a patriot. Midterms? That's what cowards do. That's not what leaders do. That's like Susan Rice in the 1990s, the Clinton administration. Well, if we call it a genocide in Rwanda, what'll happen at the midterms? Who cares about the midterms? Good Lord. If it costs conservatives the midterms to stop a nuclear weapon to be in the hands of Iran, then so be it. If American voters are that freaking stupid, then so be it. You don't get this, Iceman, appropriating the nickname of somebody from a Top Gun movie. Army 3275 gets it. I get it. Veterans get it. Too many of my friends and colleagues harmed irreparably by these scumbags. Giving them a nuclear weapon is unacceptable. And that's what's going on here. No, Ilza Boykman, Iran is not totally disarmed now. We didn't go after their military. We didn't go after their grid. We didn't attack their economic production capability with their nuclear and their natural gas facilities. None of that was touched. None of it was touched. And Iceman, as far as we're now all targets, what dream world are you living in? We've been targets all along. Iran has endlessly attacked and murdered Americans for the past 46 years. We never stopped being targets. Never. Never. Jeez. Good Lord, man. People are clueless. Where do you get your leftist talking points from? Do they send them to you in a text message, in an email? Oh, my goodness. Chris, will a nuclear... Okay, I already got that. Thank you, Courtney, for the $1.99. Trump promised Americans to keep us out of wars in the Middle East. When did he say that? Give me the quote and the date. Give me the quote and date. Trump also promised since 2011 that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I think that trumps any statement you're coming up with. Give me the dates. Give me the dates, Dogzilla. You reap what you sow. Suck his life. Hey, Dylan. General Clark, why are you on this kick? Told everyone what would happen in 2007. That Trump would become president in 2025 and attack Iran? What are you saying, Holden? Because you've been saying that same sentence. It's like you've copied and pasted the text for 4 days. You keep saying it, and I've ignored it. What are you saying? What did General Clark say in 2007? I asked that question before and you didn't answer it. Exactly. Iran threatened us again today. Again today. Well, when that topic came up of planes going to Guam, I said they're not for this. Maybe it's to send a message to China not to be aggressive, but it's certainly nothing to do with Iran, and it wasn't. That was part of a deception plan. If Iran say they're going to do something, then you have to take their word. Been telling the world for years what their intentions were exactly, and they've been executing those intentions. The Houthis didn't exist 20 years ago. Hezbollah has been around forever because of Iran. Hamas has been around for decades because of Iran, financing them. There go the midterms. Everyone's happy. Well, I am happy that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That pleases me to no end. Courtney is another $5. Thank you, Courtney. If Iran say, okay, I got that. Okay. Finally, a president with the balls to stand up for what is right. He is. For 5 decades, U.S. federal law said that the embassy must be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. 5 decades. 5 decades. Multiple presidents ignored the law. Trump moved our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That took balls. Who cares about polls? It's not about polls. It's not about polls. It's not about the midterms. It's about what's doing right. That's what leaders do. Leaders do what's right. Charlie says, what is BRIC America saying now? His pro-Iranian, China, and Russia talking nonsense about America. I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying BRIC America is anti-American? He's anti-American? I didn't know that. Okay. Don't know that. Hey, Fabian. Real America firsters, not these bumper sticker patriots. Bumper sticker patriots. Dude, you're looking in the mirror? Encourage people to not take Trump and left versus right and all the current political BS into account since the statement of intent for the refugee program. Huh? Some of these whining so-called conservatives that thought because Trump wanted peace and no war meant he would not act. Exactly. Exactly. There's a difference between being in love with peace and seeking peace and being a leader and making the right decision when you have to. See, the problem is Democrats are weak because they talk peace. But they are the most aggressive and misusers of our military. Obama murdered extrajudicially American citizens in Yemen. No court proceedings, no convictions, just sent a drone and murdered 2 American citizens, a terrorist and his son. Without any evidence the son was even a terrorist. In Yemen. Barack Obama fired more missiles in assassinations than anyone in history. Barack Obama. Started more wars than any president in living memory. Barack Obama. Democrats. Remember Madeleine Albright. What's the point, General, of having this military if you're unwilling to use it? Democrats love to send us to death. They love to send us to death. And then they pretend the Republicans are warmongers. But Republicans have to make the hard decisions because the world is screwed up because of Democrats. And Army 3275 is right. Iran will not become the next North Korea because Clinton sat around and played games with them. And so did Bush. And they got a nuclear weapon. And so did Obama. So North Korea is a nuclear armed power now because of those idiots. Just got involved. Okay. Iceman thinks we got involved. Okay. All right. Trump promised us that he would keep us out of this shit all through the president. Okay, so Dogzilla. So your point is that if somebody makes a statement at some point in history and the facts on the ground change, they're not allowed to change. So if George Bush, who said he was tired of foreign engagements and foreign entanglements, we need to look at America. That's what George Walker Bush said. And he pulled back on America and focused on America with his stupid, Every Child Left Behind Act and stupid stuff like that with Kennedy. So George Bush did that. So 9/11 happened. The truth changed. So Dogzilla, is your point that George Bush should have just sat back and said, oh, hell, we got attacked. I guess we just have to sit back here and take it up the backside. The truth has changed, Dogzilla. Your inability to recognize that is disturbing. Very disturbing. We haven't seen what Biden let in, but they will come out. Oh, yeah, the terror networks. Hey, Carol Jimenez, how you doing? Woke people should go back to bed, says Tian. Amber, Donald Trump campaigned on the promise of no new wars and a quick end to the current wars in Ukraine and Gaza. None of those wars have ended, and the U.S. is now in a new war with Iran. Okay, first off, Amber, we're not in a war with Iran. We're done. Trump said we're done. Now, let's see what action Iran takes. Then we'll find out if we're in a war with Iran. What else? I mean, Bill Clinton bombed Sudan. Did we go to war? No, we didn't go to war. Remember the baby milk factory? We bombed the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. We didn't go to war. So turn it down a notch. He said a quick end to the current wars in Ukraine and Gaza. That's not what he said. He said he could end the war in Ukraine on day one. That's what he said. He didn't say a quick end to the war in Gaza. I'm sorry. And so how exactly is he supposed to end those wars when you have people diametrically opposed to ending the wars? What was he supposed to do? I was deployed to Kuwait in 2018. I remember all those Patriot missiles we had pointed toward Iran. Such a scary environment. Everyone can swear that they are solid, but ice is solid too until you put heat on it. That's like, hey, Ice, ice, baby. Now stop, collaborate, listen. ICE is here with a brand new invention. The attacks by Israel will be studied by many years. Yeah, as will this raid. You can watch General Clark in his own words. Again, Holden, I'm not going to go watch General Clark from 2007. Make your point or quit putting the text in there. Make your point. Iran went from 1857 in overnight trading. Here, AOC is now calling for impeachment. Well, AOC was today with a terrorist, helping a terrorist escape from detention. She was with that Harvard terror lover and supporter of Hamas. And so I really don't care what she has to say. She is going to be on the short bus to imprisonment with her actions, and a couple of others, like Ilhan Omar. What do you anticipate Iran's more extreme elements might do in terms of retaliation? Do you think their response will be symbolic, strategic, or something more destabilizing? Well, for starters, they haven't got much to do at this point. I mean, the number of missiles landing and drones hitting Israel has dropped from hundreds to like 4 last night. They're running out or they've been destroyed on the ground. So that capability is evaporating and they've shot their wad. So that's the first point. The second point is, yeah, they can activate terror cells at any time. There's people dedicated to this cause all over the world. Martinez says, BRIC America is extremely anti-Israel. I know that, anti-America. I didn't know he's anti-America. I guess I don't watch him enough. Then a few months later, the State Department met with intelligence committees to make stronger ties with the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, that doesn't. I must have missed something you said, because the last thing you said, Holden, was General Clark. Okay. Finally, you have Obama addressing the Muslims in Cairo. Dude, I don't know what you're getting at here. What about this? Nico Olivier, what's going on, man? Peter Feldman, hope they release the video of how it's used. Most are against government. They'll have to rise if they want to be free. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Bush Jr. got us sucked into 30 years of horrific warfare in Iraq with zero proof of weapons. Oh my gosh, here we go after disprove. Dogzilla, okay, stop. You know what you're talking about. There were weapons of mass destruction. I'm tired of people lying about this. I worked at the National Security Agency. Scud missiles are weapons of mass destruction. They were prohibited by the United Nations for Iraq. Iraq fired over 30 of them into Kuwait within minutes of the conflict beginning in 2003. Don't tell me they didn't have weapons of mass destruction. They did. And the war in Iraq wasn't about weapons of mass destruction. You fools fell for that. Because the Bush administration lets you fall for that. The war in Iraq was about several things. That was just one of them. Another reason for going to the war in Iraq in 2003 is because the Iraqi regime was a state sponsor of terror. And they were paying the martyrs' families $50,000 U.S. cash for every suicide bomber that went on an Israeli bus and murdered innocent civilians. That's another reason. Their oppression of the Marsh Arabs is another reason. Their ecological genocide in the Tigris and Euphrates, draining them, is another reason. Their violation of UN sanctions is the primary reason for it. Weapons of mass destruction is just one reason. Stop the nonsense. Good God. 30 years of war? What planet are you on? I know you're embellishing here. 30 years of war. We didn't go into Iraq until 2003. It's 2025, and we left Iraq 7 years ago. Anyway, Bush didn't get us into that. Clinton got us into Iraq. Fabian, I have seen the video. I reviewed Joe Emilio's video before it went live. I've seen the video. It's outstanding. It's outstanding. What's new for talking common sense? You're welcome. For anyone wondering, Iran developed ID called EFPs that I was hit by and my friends killed by. Yep. Mark, $5. Hit the like button. Thank you so much for that. Vance says, at the end, America knew what they were doing to clear out the path in Iraq and Afghanistan to get to the ultimate enemy. I suppose that's one way to look at it, but I don't know. Bush sold the Iraq war as necessary to prevent some freaking World War III. No, you were correct in your first assessment. Bush sold the war because the media glommed on to the weapons of mass destruction. That's what they focused on. So his administration, foolishly, and Powell went with that narrative. But they laid out a whole list of reasons. There were like 17 reasons why we went in. Okay, so I just love this Monday morning quarterbacking, which started in 2003, by the way. I was working at the National Security Agency. at the National Security Agency in uniform. Actually, know what I'm talking about here, okay? This is just crazy. It's like the whole nonsense. There was no plan for Iraq after the war. That's a lie. That's a lie. Bush's idiotic State Department and Department of Defense couldn't get along. There was a plan. The documents were from the floor to here. High, printed out. Thousands of pages for power restoration, for water distribution, for security, for demilitarization, for policing, prisons. It was all there, all laid out. And the State Department put their fingers up their ass and didn't do anything in Iraq. And we got the mess we got. They're sitting around when the temperature's 104 degrees in Baghdad in the summertime. People no air conditioning because there's no power stations because they sat on their ass instead of paying contractors to come do the job that was all set up before the war was launched. But all you Monday morning quarterbacks that don't know your ass from a hole in the ground, well, there was no plan. There was no plan. This is all messed up. This is all messed up. Yeah, they had no plan. Bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there. I was. Sick of these lying SOBs. Bush and Cheney had the whole thing planned before 9/11. Oh, you really can't help people like this. You really can't help people. Dogzilla, did you even vote in 2000? Did you vote? Did you pay attention to the campaign at all? What was George Bush's campaign theme? What was his campaign theme in 2000 that he got elected on? Do you remember? Do you remember? It sure as hell wasn't Iraq. Anybody remember what his campaign theme was? Someone want to share that with me? Anybody? Wow, look at all the frickin' trolls pouring in here. Anybody remember what his theme was? Nobody's answering. Compassionate conservatism. Compassionate conservatism. Remember that? America. Before Trump said America first, he's America. We have to focus inward. One reason why I didn't like George Bush as a candidate is because he was an isolationist. He wanted to retreat. He wanted to focus on America because of Rwanda and because of Somalia and Black Hawk Down and because of Bosnia and all the other stupid shit that Bill Clinton got us involved in. So his deal was, we need to pull back. Focus on America. I'm a compassionate conservative. Iraq, they planned this? Come on, man. Bush had good goals, including support of AID. Every president supported USAID until January of this year. So I don't know what that means, Dogzilla. Every president since it was created by Kennedy has supported USAID. But Bush screwed up USAID. Yeah, had good goals. He screwed it up. You don't even know what he did to USAID, do you? Do you know what he did? Do you know what he did? I was there. He made USAID subservient to the State Department. They were an independent agency reporting directly to the president. But George Bush dicked that up. Dicked that up. You're sitting here singing the praise of George Bush. He dicked that up. He undermined their independence and then screwed all of us. We all had to get involved in this stupid process on how to do budgets in embassies. It was a total disaster. Thank God it is in there. I know, so nice. What's this? People need to understand it was about stopping a psycho regime having nukes. Iran's supreme leader's religious belief actually says to bring the end of the world so Allah returns. Yep. Johnny Walker. Yeah, ASC's a moron. She's also basically a criminal. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. She's borderline committing criminal acts, and she's gotten away with it, but it isn't going to go forever. All right, let's take a look at the headlines around the world, folks. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and joining. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining here. How are we doing here? We got 290 people here right now, 165 likes. Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, 6 nations, all part of the DoD Plan 2007. 2007. Holden Caulfield. It's 2025. That's 3 lifetimes ago in U.S. military service, 2007. It's 18 years ago. Who at the Pentagon was at the Pentagon in 2007? Not a single person at the Pentagon, except maybe some secretary or people working in the cafeteria, were at the Pentagon in 2007. There's no military member who was in the Army, in the Navy, in the Marines, in the Air Force in 2007 who's still at the Pentagon. None. Unless there's a 4-star general that was a captain in 2007. Give me a break, man. What planet do you people live on? Gerardus Gerber. Good evening to you. And don't give me this, well, there's civilians there. No. I worked in the Pentagon, man. GOP of old is way different to what MAGA crowd seems to scream for, and even the MAGAs are split about getting the worse. Well, Dogzilla, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid from the Washington Compost, the New York Times, talking about the split MAGA crowd. Wait, because Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson got a different opinion? Yep, Marine One, he's trying to force them to the table. 17 years, yeah, 17 years, Holden. Who is in the Pentagon that was involved with that plan? Come on, man, get real. Anyway, back to the news. You guys can sit here with your fairy tales all night long. If that's how you get your jollies, being deluded and just putting, provocative text in there, that's fine. I can just ignore them too. Right, so let's get to the news. Okay, so U.S. enters war against Iran by bombing key nuclear sites. Strikes on 3 sites, including Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear installation, injected the U.S. directly into Israel's war. Mr. Trump was expected to speak from the White House at 10 p.m., and he did, briefly. 3 sites that Trump said were hit on Sunday morning include Iran's 2 major uranium enrichment centers, the Mountain facility at Fordo and the larger enrichment plant at Natanz, which Israel had struck several days ago with smaller weapons. The 3rd site near the ancient city of Isfahan is where Iran is believed to keep its near bomb-grade enriched uranium, which inspectors saw just 2 weeks ago. 3 senior Iranian officials, speaking in condition anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly, said that they believe American forces had bombed Fordo and Natanz at around 2:30 in the morning. Well, that's right. After a week of mixed signals, no, it wasn't mixed signals. He just fooled you all. Trump, who has long vowed to steer America clear of overseas forever wars, authorized U.S. forces to strike Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear installation. The goal is to prevent them from getting a nuclear bomb. Yep. There you go. There you go. U.S. strikes 3. I love this. These people, well, he said he was going to do this. Truth changes, folks. Truth changes. I mean, if you go to the doctor gives you a cancer diagnosis, are you going to still smoke? If you got lung cancer because you were smoking, you can still smoke? Truth has changed. It was okay to smoke. Now you got cancer. So stop smoking. U.S. airstrikes at 3 Iranian sites join Israeli air campaign against nuclear program. The decision to directly involve the U.S. in the war comes after more than a week of strikes by Israel and Iran that aim to systemically eradicate the country's air defenses and offensive military missile capabilities while damaging its nuclear enrichment facilities. But U.S. and Israeli officials have said American stealth bombers and the 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb they alone can carry offered the best chance of destroying heavily fortified sites connected to the Iranian nuclear bomb program buried deep underground. There you go. 30,000-pound, 13,500 kg bombs. U.S. completes the strike on Iran's nuclear sites. Trump shares post claiming that Fordo is gone. Trump says it's gone. Deutsche Welle, U.S. strikes nuclear sites in Iran. Trump says Israel was kept in the loop ahead of the U.S. airstrikes on 3 nuclear sites. I would hope so we can deconflict airspace. Yep. CNN, Trump announces very successful airstrikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. President Trump announced Saturday evening that U.S. military forces had dropped bombs on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, ending a week-long deliberation period over joining Israel's campaign. Iran-Israel war. News updates from the Hindustan Times. B-2 stealth bombers and Tomahawk missiles, 30 Tomahawks and at least 6 bunker buster bombs, 30,000-pound bombs were used in this attack. Since the B-2 can only carry 2 of those 30,000-pound bombs, that would indicate that at a minimum at least 3 B-2 stealth bombers were used for this attack, at a minimum. And Iranian state television responded. They had something to say. Of course, they weren't running from explosions around them, but let's just get to this. So here you go. The Iranian state television, this is what they had to say about President Trump's attacks tonight.
من هدف مشروع ایران هستند. آمریکا با این اقدامی که انجام داد علیه ایران و حریم هوایی ایران را شکست و جنایت علیه ایران انجام داد دیگه جایی در منطقه غرب آسیا نداره. آقای رئیس جمهور آمریکا شما شروع کردید و ما تمومش خواهیم کرد.
And that's what the Iranian state television had to say tonight. That's what they had to say. So we really don't care. You started this war in 1979. You started this war in 1979. You murdered thousands of American citizens, our service members, and innocent civilians around the world. You started this. Holden Caulfield he said, General Clark, General McIntyre, and General Valley would disagree with you, none of whom are on active duty, none of whom are participating in today's events, all of whom are retired. Trump said they should talk. He also said they can't have the bomb. They didn't talk, so there you go. That's right. Well, Kentucky's Representative Thomas Massey's opened his K-call and talked about things he has no idea about. Another ambulance chaser. One of the most vocal lunatic Republican rhinos pushing against American intervention in Iran posted on X that President Trump's bombing is unconstitutional. Really? He wanted to introduce a war powers resolution in the House on Tuesday that would prohibit American involvement in Iran. This is not a war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. Actually, no, dingbat doorknob. The War Powers Act gives President Trump the authority to do this. You, congressman, almost 60 years ago, 50-some years ago, gave the president this right when you had a dispute over Vietnam. So, yeah. So, shut up, Thomas Massey. Go back to Kentucky and get spanked by a 12-year-old girl because you're not a very bright individual. You're not a very bright individual. U.S. has entered the war with Iran. New York Times. President says we struck these 3 key sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The Epic Times, U.S. strikes Iran's Fordo facility, 2 other nuclear sites, Trump announces. The Washington Post, U.S. warplanes carry out successful strikes on 3 nuclear sites. Al Jazeera, U.S. joins Israel's attacks on Iran and bombs nuclear sites at Fordo and Natanz. The Irish Times, completely oblivious to the conflict, as they usually are. New York Post, successful attack. Now is the time for peace. Oops, that's not what I'm looking for here. And the Daily Mail, Trump declares spectacular military success after totally obliterating Iran's nuclear capabilities and warns of future attacks if they don't make peace. If they don't make peace. And of course, The Guardian, Israel and Iran. Trump says U.S. attacked nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo. And The Telegraph, U.S. launches strikes on Iran. So my question is to the people in the chat who keep saying that we got us into a war. What exactly is your point and approach here? I mean, Iran said we're not going to talk. We have nothing to say to the Americans. So what are we supposed to do? Sit around and wait for them to, slip a bomb onto a dinghy, float over to Dubai and blow up Bahrain? I mean, what are you supposed to wait on here? They've said they don't. There's nothing to talk about. They said there's nothing to talk about. You're right, Army 3275. They can yell and scream, but in the end, it's within his authority. It's just a publicity stunt by idiots. And the problem is Americans believe that stuff, just like they believe all this other nonsense some people are writing in the chat right now. Yep. So you surrender monkeys, you Neville Chamberlains out there, this is 40 years overdue, 45 years overdue, 46 years overdue. This lot should have been bombed into oblivion by James Earl Carter. Carter put us in this mess. Carter put us in this mess. Just a military operation, Peter Feldman, that's correct. The IAEA was there for years, keeping an eye on peaceful atomic energy processes. Yeah, and the IAEA reported 2 weeks ago that they have weapons-grade plutonium enriched beyond 60% at Fordo. That was the IAEA. What's your point there? They're watching. Yes, they are watching. That's why they told the world that Iran has nuclear-grade plutonium. The IAEA. Are you watching the news, Dogzilla? Are you actually paying attention to what's going on? Good God. Yes, I've seen the movie Argo. I served at the U.S. Embassy with the couple who were the last Americans to get out. They were on that Argo flight. They got them out. They weren't at the embassy. They left their home and they went to the Canadian embassy. That's where they hid out. And then the Beneflect, the Argo thing, they escaped with them. He was the deputy chief of mission at the embassy in Tunisia when I was stationed there in 2000. Yep, him and his wife. Can't remember his name right now, but they were characters in the movie. Yep, strange world. So actually served with a diplomat who was nearly kidnapped and kept hostage in Iran back in 79. Yep. Ramaphosa's one fighter flying fleet on the way to the Middle East to protect the Iranian skies. This just in. South Africa's lone Gripen fighter is in the air, but apparently had to put down in Zimbabwe because there was a mechanical fault. And now he's going to have to take a truck through the Beitbridge border crossing to get back to Langebaan to get in the only other operational Gripen to fly it to the Middle East. Marine Air Station 79, when Carter sent helicopters to Iran, I remember it was lost in that mess. Yeah, Desert One. What a disaster that was. Nah, Dogzilla is just trolling. He's just trolling. No innocents were killed in Iran, Dogzilla. That's a silly-ass question. There are no innocents at nuclear weapons facilities in Iran. No innocents. None. Not a single one. Not a single innocent person. The only thing targeted tonight by the United States military were 3 nuclear facilities. That's it. No power grid, no civilian centers, no shopping centers, no malls, no infrastructure, no bridges, no roads, no residential areas. Nothing was targeted by the Americans. No innocents. So next silly question. Maddie Fundamavis says, morning, Chris, here from Botswana. I agree with Chris. This was long overdue. Hope the NC lose their naughty friends and numbers. Hey, what's the Hili Jang, Maddie, eh? Yes, what a disgrace South African army are. Yep. Ever see Chuck Norris's Delta Force? Yeah, that was one of Chuck's best movies. Delta Force was actually pretty good back in the 80s. I remember that. Yep. Pretty good. Yeah, Desert One was terrible. Yeah, Cockprat 24 will say it's whole fleet. Yeah, no, I think they reported the truth on the South African Air Force operational readiness. It's pretty sad state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty sad state of affairs. They have 40-some helicopters and 4 were operational. They had bought 24 Gripens. I think they actually took delivery of 21 or 18. And they have 2 operational aircraft, but 1 qualified pilot. It's terrible. Sean says, given the early warning, what's the chances they manage to get the uranium out and hide it somewhere else? Sean, that's a good question. I don't think anybody's actually asked that question. I don't know what the chances are. It's, the Iranians aren't very bright, except at murdering people. That they're very skilled at. But when it comes to anything else, they're not very bright. The poor pilot was stuck at Brightbridge because he didn't take his passport. Hey, Gene, that's good. Mile High, what's your opinion of former U.S. military seem to have turned against the U.S.? Douglas MacArthur? Douglas MacArthur never turned against America. He just disobeyed lawful orders, and he was relieved of his command in the Pacific for that. Scott Ritter, not a fan. Not a fan. Wasn't a fan in 2003. Still not a fan. He got famous because he swam against the stream. Large majority of Iranian people hate their uninvited extreme. Yes, you're right, Catherine. Have been celebrating his chance to get rid of them. Yep. Zimbabwe has a stronger military than South Africa. I think Eswatini has a stronger military at this point, with just 3,000 troops. How can a nation believes in bringing the world to an end so that Allah can return and be seen as innocent? Exactly. I would bet money, drones, and satellites have been watching these facilities 24/7. Yep. And that very well, to answer the question was asked earlier. Who asked that question? Sean asked the question. Army, that may very well be the reason why the strike took place tonight. They may have seen preparations to remove things from those sites, and that's why they had to strike. So what we don't know could fill a stadium, ladies and gentlemen. We can suppose, we can analyze, but I need a little bit more information to make certain claims. And that's the bottom line with all this. So, what we don't know could fill a stadium. And so people can speculate all they want. And they can say that this is dangerous, and this was a bad idea, and that this is going to, seriously, honestly, the midterms, Iceman, the midterms, give me a frickin' break. You're actually worried about the midterms? See, that's the thing. So my first public lecture in South Africa when I came back after the COVID political scam, I went back in August 2022 and I spoke at the Reformation Society in Rondebosch. And Dr. Hemmon invited me, and he said I could speak on any topic I wanted. So because we just had COVID, and because people lied and used it for political purposes to destroy the social fabric of the world and undermine our economies and accelerate the de-Westernization of the Western world, I said that I want to do a speech on doing what's right, moral, and just in the face of injustice, which is what the topic was. So leaders make the hard decisions. Leaders recognize what has to be done, and they take those decisions, regardless of polls, regardless of popularity. General Dwight David Eisenhower drafted his resignation letter on the eve of D-Day. His letter said, I take full responsibility for the failure of our landings on the beaches of Normandy. And he resigned. Letter was ready. He wrote it, sitting there on the desk. He didn't know if the attacks on June 6th were going to be successful. That's what a leader does. Leaders do that. Throughout my military career, I did things that were not things that would get me promoted, but they were the right thing to do. And I did it because you do what's right. You don't do what advances your career. You don't do what is popular. You do what is right. You do what must be done. That's what leaders do. Leaders sacrifice themselves for the mission. It's my favorite saying, the unknown that we have to look out for. Mossad showed video of their people in Iran, so there's probably human intelligence. Oh, there's a lot of intelligence on the ground. Yeah, that's what's amazing. What is truly amazing about Mossad is their integration into Chinese mobile phone factories, Apple factories. Their spies have on the ground in Iran, in Lebanon, in Gaza, in Jordan, in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia. It's truly amazing what Mossad can do. But bear in mind, folks, remember that Israel is full of Jews from all over the world, particularly the Middle East. So there are Moroccans, and there are Tunisians, and there are Algerians, and there are Ethiopians, and there's Sudanese, and there are Egyptians, and there's Persians, and there's Iraqi, and there's Lebanese, and there's Turkish, and there's Saudi. All of them are Jews who came to Israel because they were forced out of the Middle Eastern countries. So all of them know these countries. They know the language. They know the vernacular. They can slip in and out. They raise their kids the same way. So the Israelis have a huge advantage because it's a country of immigrants primarily, and they really can take advantage of that, and it shows. What intelligence agencies know, see, and hear about what's really going on will scare us. Yeah, well, I know, Dirk. I was in the intelligence community for years. Now focus scenarios ahead. Well, I already did. I did anime. I focused on the scenarios ahead. That was what I said early on. What comes next? The next move is Iran's move. If Iran doesn't retaliate, then we can have peace. If we've actually destroyed their nuclear capability. If we haven't, then there'll be more strikes. But once the battle damage assessment is done, and we have a good feel for whether we've pulled it off, which they claim they've done, but I mean, I'm skeptical until we get some genuine battle damage assessment. I mean, the initial reports are always glowing, but once the dust is settled, once you actually see what's happened, then we have to know. But if we've actually destroyed their capability and set them back far enough, then we don't have to do anything else. And I said, once again, as I said, we didn't attack their cities, we didn't attack their infrastructure, we didn't attack their bridges, their roads, their highways, their power grid, their internet, or their oil and gas refining facilities. None of that was attacked. We didn't seize their ships at sea. We didn't attack their navy, all of which could be done instantaneously. We could sink the Iranian navy right now. Right now. The entire Iranian navy could be sunk right now by the U.S. military with its presence in the Arabian Gulf. But we didn't do that. We're not looking for a war. We're not looking for war, obviously. If we were looking for war, it would have been a blitz. But it wasn't. Any Russian scientists involved were not innocent when they were helping develop. Yep. Trump told them to leave. Yep. Why can't Trump stand up to real threats like Putin? What threat is Putin? Has Putin threatened the United States? I don't recall that. Did I miss something? Dogzilla, when did Putin threaten the United States? Iran has threatened the United States. Call for the death to Americans and then murdered Americans, thousands of them. When has Russia done that to us? I don't recall Putin threatening America. What's this? Is there any reason, weapons, huh? Or any response? No, Peter. I think Beijing and Moscow will be like, oh, fuck. Oh, my goodness. Did you see what the Americans did? We didn't even know they had planes in the air. We had no idea they were going to do this. Look what they did from Missouri and from the Arabian Gulf on a moment's notice. Wow. We better not piss them off. Yeah, I think the Chinese and the Russians will probably run their mouths, but they're not going to take any action because not a good thing. Russian and U.S. have phone lines just for the situation. Yep. Oh, he probably called Putin as the bombing was underway. I bet you Trump called Putin when the bombing was underway. And even Xi Jinping. Hey, Xi. Do you hear this? That's a live feed from a B-2 over nuclear facilities in Iran at this hour. I bet he called both of them. Explain how will they do battle damage assessment if the entrances have collapsed. Sean, I can't discuss that. I cannot disclose sources and methods. I cannot disclose capabilities. There are classified capabilities that the U.S. government possesses that allow them to do things, and that's all I'll say about it. Okay? It's a fair question, and I appreciate your question, but I can't answer it. You can guess, and I can get, well, that might be plausible, but I can't say. Yes, call me Novak. It appears that the B-2s that did this mission were based in the United States. So we struck Iran all the way on the other side of the world from the United States. Putin fired 400 missiles in Kiev last night. He was doing horrific. And Kiev fired hundreds of missiles at civilian apartment buildings in Moscow. What they're doing is horrific. What's your point, Dogzilla? No doubt China's pissed too, but they would love the U.S. to be dragged into a war. Yep. A FaceTime call. I don't know if they had a FaceTime call. Obama purged the Pentagon in his first administration. I don't recall that. I was at the Pentagon in that time frame. Actually, no, I'm incorrect. I was back in Africa at that time. When Obama became president, I was in Africa. My mistake, yeah. So I wasn't at the Pentagon anymore. So my mistake. Apologies. Yep. I was already in back in Africa at that point. Yeah. So, yeah. I left the Pentagon in. It would have been. I should remember this because Bush came to Liberia. I left the Pentagon in April of 2007, and when Bush was president, and I was in Liberia when Obama became president, or was I? No. He became president in 2009. So I was in 2009. I was in Botswana when Obama became president. My correction. So yep. Flying all the way from America. Yeah, that is a statement. Yep. How fast can a B-2 fly from Missouri to Iran? I don't know. It's a 15-hour flight. You do the math. No, Russia doesn't have the capability to fight on one front, Lewis. I mean, they're fighting a weak-ass country. Ukraine has nothing. Their military is a joke. I mean, right now it's basically 55-year-old conscripts that are holding on, and the Russians can't defeat them. Their military is a joke. The only reason Russia matters at all is they have nuclear weapons. Otherwise, who would care about them? Well, Jesse, there's some dispute about whether the B-2s were based in Diego Garcia. There's B-52s that went to Diego Garcia, but I'm not aware of any B-2s that went there. So we don't know. Whatever the case is, yep. But yes, Diego Garcia is closer. That's true. Yeah, Holden, that's 2009. I'm tired. I had to think about my time frame there. Anyway, yeah, so I guess some people are curious about the plaque. Anybody want to hear about the plaque? Okay. Should the Pahlavi dynasty be restored? I don't think so. $100,000 subscribers. There you go, guys. There you go. It came. It arrived. It's here. Woo. Just aluminum. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. Be sure to hit the like button. Yep, that's the plaque. Benjamin Staples, man. What's going on? 787 Dreamliners here. Anyway, so tonight, President Trump announced that the United States had attacked 3 Iranian nuclear sites, 3 key sites. He said that one of them, the Fordo site, is gone. Well, we'll see. I'm always skeptical about initial battle damage assessment, having spent many years doing battle damage and battlefield damage assessment. I often wonder about it. Actually, Dogzilla, Trump campaign saying he could stop the war on the first day. That's what he said. Yep. Did you actually believe that? Did you actually believe that? You didn't believe that. Enough of the real world chaos, and I've already seen Cyril and Naledi issue another deeply concerned statement. Oh, yes. Well, Cyril, yeah. Natalie, could you dim the lights? Natalie, could you dim the lights? Brpa. Shutuki. Shutuki. Brpa. Who turned off the lights, man? I feel like it's load shedding. I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. Oh, thank you, Natalie. All right, we got the lights back. Yes, Courtney. I will get to Utah. I'm trying to work a plan on that. Wonder, Chris, will Iran be ready to talk now? No, Marine One, I don't think they will. I think they're going to go down all the way till the regime is overthrown. They're that arrogant and stubborn. Of course, I did not believe Trump about stopping the war, but he promised it so many times. I had no hope. That's just silly. That's a complete misunderstanding of international relations. Trump was negotiating with both sides, and Ukraine launched attacks against Russia. He was negotiating with both sides. He was talking to Russia, and Russia launched attacks against Ukraine. Neither one of them wants peace. Neither Putin nor Zelensky want peace. Both of them are served by a war. It's a joke. These are also ran third-rate military powers that are slugging it out in basically a Balkan-style war. Radio-controlled aircraft club, the war in the South African Air Force. Dim the lights. Chris Mattia, welcome to you, man. Yeah. I don't think Iran will be ready to negotiate, folks. So it was a rather short message by Trump. It wasn't a whole lot to it. So that was really, really, a brief message by Trump. I was surprised at how brief it was. Not really, but obviously the press wasn't there. But tomorrow there'll be a press conference, and Trump isn't doing it. Simon Ateba, the dishonest African journalist who we all felt sorry for when he was treated like crap by Karine Jean-Pierre, says, be brutally honest, the Democrats are outraged here in Washington that Trump bombed Iran without congressional approval. A major decision they say endangers every American. Do you agree with them? Nope. Doesn't endanger every American. We were all in danger. The fact that these idiots can't see how gravely in danger we were doesn't change the fact that we were in danger. Zelensky is the problem. I agree. Yep. Was Trump too stupid to realize what you said about being just a Balkan war situation? No, Trump was running for office, Dogzilla. That's what politicians do. That's what they say. You got it when a politician runs for office. You gotta take what they say for granted. And don't tell me Trump's not a politician, because Trump was already president. He became a politician in the first term, and so he's became even more of a politician, defending himself in all these lawsuits and running for office for 3 years afterwards. So Trump is a politician, and that's what politicians do. They say things that resonate with people. Remember, all the people coming across the border, all these criminals, which is true. There are a lot of criminals, but he was demonized for it. But he got a lot of votes as a consequence in 2016. Absolutely, absolutely. So look, I ran for office, and I did very poorly because I don't lie to people. I was honest. People asked me a question, I told them the truth. Got Republicans that slammed the door in my face. So, are you voting for that bastard? I said, well, ma'am, who I vote for isn't really germane, but I'll be happy to answer your question because you asked it. And since I've come here asking for your signature, yes, I'll be voting for President Trump. Well, get the fuck out of my place. Slam the door in my face. No call for that behavior. Registered Republican. An evil, slimy, nasty troll. I hope she has a miserable life. I wasn't rude to her. I didn't harass her. I knocked on her door at a reasonable hour during daylight hours. She answered the door, and I told her what I was there for. She's a registered Republican, and I'd like to give her signature on my petition to get on the ballot. And that's how she treated me. It's nasty people all over the world. It's not a jacket, it's a shirt. It's a long sleeve K-Way shirt. Yep. Heard about the bombers last night. El Marie, yeah, well, that's what we're talking about. Anyway, so, yeah. What's this? Huh? Oh my goodness. This is a good video here. I hope there's no music on it. Let me see if there's music. Hopefully not. No. I'm not going to play that because of music. Glenn Greenwald says, what Israel wants from the U.S., Israel gets. It's been away for decades, no matter who is elected. Big question now is whether Iran will fulfill its promise to attack the numerous vulnerable U.S. bases in the Middle East and or oil financial assets in that region. Wow, Glenn Greenwald once again has left his tendency. I love how Glenn Greenwald hides in Brazil instead of living in America. I understand what that's all about. I know his boyfriend or his partner is Brazilian, but you can live in America, buddy. Every time America's on the verge of greatness, we get involved in another foreign war, says Marjorie Taylor Greene. There would not be bombs falling on the people of Israel if Netanyahu had not dropped bombs on people of Iran first. Iran is a nuclear-armed nation. This is not our fight. Pieces. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yep, you reveal who you really are right there. Wow. Wow. Peace is the answer. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the firebrand Republican so-called MAGA person. Yep. It is our war. Marjorie Taylor Greene. How old is she? Let's see how old she is. Let's see. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know how old she is because I'm going to make a comment about her. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, United States Representative. Okay. She is 51. 51 years old. So she wasn't old enough to remember Tehran. Only 5.5 years old when these idiots did this to us. Yeah, shut your cake hole, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. Joel Pollack says President Trump has done an incredibly brave and necessary thing. Now the war can end. The efforts of radical Islamists and anti-Semites and rejectionists to destroy Israel should stop. The hostages must be released, and a common future for peace can be built. Well, the hostages are in Israel. They're not in Iran, Joel, so not related. What else we got here? Unbelievable. Well, this is pretty wild. So Skalkberger says, reason why the trains get burnt in Cape Town, watch taxis approaching the pickup point, 30-minute delay for our traffic, and no South African police or traffic officers in sight. Yeah, so this is good. Skalkberger, guy I've interviewed. This is, of course, is the former Springbok and the father of the more famous Springbok, Skalk Jr. So, yeah, let's take a look at this real quick. Get away from the Iran issue for a couple minutes.
First, it's green that we are allowed to go. Just check this taxi here. Going over the wherever, it's green. Just check this taxi coming over here. Another taxi over there. Total chaos.
No cops in sight.
You ain't seen anything like this.
Just
over the
animals.
pavements, nearly bumping into cars. Look at that taxi up front there.
This is the Kinshasa.
Look at these taxis coming around here. The police have left. Looks like they're too scared to see what they're doing here.
It's basically Kinshasa.
So now those taxis can't come back this way. Obviously all the trains have been burnt by these taxi guys. But it's going to be interesting to see when these lights turn green what these taxis on the right do. They're actually against the arrows. Yeah, let's see. There they start going. Now it's green for us. Now we should be able to go.
Yeah, but you won't.
Everybody just goes. Look at this, look at this. Look how they're blocking us off. Just watch this. Just watch this. Look at these accidents nearly taking place. No police, nobody. Cape Town at its best. Green light for us. Now I'm going. Nobody's going to stop me.
That's from Skalkberger. I interviewed him a couple years ago at Velbedock. Yeah, Bernie Sanders criticized Trump's decision to bomb
screen that we are allowed
Israel as unconstitutional. Well, Bernie Sanders is a communist moron, so who cares what he's got to say? Yemen's Houthis threaten to strike U.S. ships. America joins the war. Well, let's just strike the Houthis. Yep. Well, in Iranian, where, the black supremacists are falsely claiming that the whites are, subjecting the black South Africans to hard physical labor, let's take a look at what's really happening. Look at the whites doing all the physical labor in Iranian. Look at that. All the labor being done by white people. Nobody's exploiting black people here. Look at that. All the labor. Pouring concrete. All done by white people. Pulling their sleeves up. There you go. Iranian. Etzebeth is a cousin of yours. Then why are you talking all this snot about America? You're not even American. Gee, crickets. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to shut her K-call. She doesn't know what she's talking about. All right, so where are we at here? What else we got going on? All right. Here's another racist attack. This one's in Australia. Bus driver beaten up by a racist. Look at this. Watch this. And they all just stand around and watch a guy beat. And you're lucky I wasn't there, because that guy wouldn't have any teeth. Because I would have gone for his knees and his face would have gone right into that bar. Yep. Three foreign nationals convicted of killing Nicky Janssen van Rensburg, the owner of a farm outside Roditan in Limpopo. Another farmer that was murdered in South Africa. Sadnam Sang, 28, and Navad Sang, 26, who sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl in her home while they delivered a TV unit, have been sentenced to 30 months each. 1 month less than Lucy Connolly, who was sentenced to 31 months for deleting an ex-post. Lucy Connolly, an Englishwoman, for deleting an ex-post, was sentenced to 31 months in prison, while these rapists were given 30 months. These rapists were given 30 months. She got 31 months for deleting a post on Twitter. So you can rape British girls, you can enslave them as sexual slaves, and no consequences. But God forbid you say something about the government on an X post. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's not the picture we want to see. Reason why you should own a gun in South Africa. TikTok. A little hard to see because it's kind of small. Look at this traffic. They just run over and start attacking people. One car after the other. That's why you should have a gun. Look at this. Breaking in the cars. Look at these animals. Run them over. Run over them. These poor people now have become victims. They're probably shot and dead. People just drive away. Animals. Just animals. Animals. Oh, but there's nothing to see in South Africa. It's all smooth. It's just a myth. It's just, you know, AfriForum and Solidarity lying to President Trump. Nothing to see. Here's a lovely story from France.
Une adolescente de 15 ans a été violée ce lundi à Saint-Genis-Laval par Radouane L, 41 ans. Et tenez-vous bien, il avait 71 mentions au fichier des antécédents judiciaires. 71 mentions, ça veut dire 71 fois où la justice aurait pu l'arrêter, 71 fois où on aurait pu la protéger. D'ailleurs, d'après Occidentis, elle a également subi une tentative d'enlèvement avant d'être violée. En fait, cette adolescente, c'est une victime de plus d'un système qui laisse les criminels en liberté et les victimes dans l'oubli. Et pendant ce temps, Emmanuel Macron, il ose nous parler de brainwashing. Madame Borne, elle nous explique qu'il faut réfléchir. Et Monsieur Éric Dupond-Moretti, l'ancien garde des Sceaux, se moque ouvertement des Français qui parlent d'insécurité. Où est-ce qu'elle est l'action? Ces actes, ils arrivent tous les jours. Où est-ce qu'elle est la fin de ce laxisme judiciaire qui protège les agresseurs et punit les victimes? C'est insupportable. Combien de temps est-ce que ça va durer? Et nous, en fait, au collectif Némésis, on ne se taira pas, on ne se taira d'ailleurs jamais. Nous apporterons toujours nos soutiens aux victimes et nous apportons d'ailleurs de tout cœur notre soutien à cette jeune femme. Maintenant, on exige une justice qui protège les victimes, pas les criminels. Rejoignez-nous, partagez ce message et ensemble, mettons fin à cette...
So there you go. It's not just in South Africa. This is happening all over the Western world. Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, this is where you got this from. Okay, that's where Dogzilla got it. He got it from Hakeem Jeffries. Promised to bring peace in the Middle East. He's failed to deliver on that promise. The risk of war is now dramatically increased. Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries needs to shut up. And Joel Pollack correctly points out that President Barack Obama has often stated that the military option was on the table with Iran. What did you think he meant? He didn't have the guts to do it. Were those just supposed to be words? And again, don't tell me words don't matter. Yep, well said. Well said. AOC calls for Trump being preached. Yeah, everyone got mad at me, and it became international news when I proposed it a few weeks ago during his spat with Elon Musk, and now it's mainstream. I'm always ahead of the curve. Oh, shut up, Ian Miles Chung. Really? And these are stupid people that are so-called conservatives. These are just little latchers on Ian Miles Chung, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these other people. They're just attention seekers, man. They're not real conservatives. What is cast iron? Is it some right-wing group?
Angola nsiki ilayita iswitch kuthiwa awukho umbane. I said awukho umbane uye kuphi, but uhambile ngithi uhamba kanjani? It was a foreign concept, I didn't understand it. Uhambile uhamba kanjani? Hamba iyahamba.
I'm not listening to that. It's stupid. Well, Jacques Rudrick put a video up. AfriForum's Neighborhood Watch. They got their drone up in Rudaport. Drone footage from Rudaport. A blue light escort. Yep. Special people. The blue light escort. There you go. In Rudaport. Anyway. It's what South Africans have to do to defend themselves. It's horrible. Horrible. I missed it. Started without me. I've been waiting to wake up to this. Hey, Sue Marie, what's going on? What is wrong with having alternate opinions to some what the Colonel says? This is America. There's nothing wrong with the Dogzilla. You can have alternate opinions. I just question your opinions. You can have alternate opinions. I don't have any problem with that, but you're obviously trolling. I'm in Seattle. There's beer and other groceries upstairs by the front door for me to go gather this beer. Huh? Canadian geese. Oh, I hate Canadian geese. They're nasty. And what do you think about Tucker Carlson, Candace? I don't think Candace Owens. I'm not getting involved. That woman is lost it a long time ago. Not getting involved in that. I have no idea what Tucker Carlson said. I saw a comment that he supposedly made, which made no sense whatsoever, but I don't know. Debbie Wilson, hello to you. Amazing Yacht Destinations is back. Good to see you again. Wow, we dropped down to 292 people. Where'd everybody go? No. When you defend yourself, then you're getting arrested. Well, Lewis, I'd rather defend myself than be dead. I'd rather defend myself than be dead. I see someone, what comment video, what you post now that say stop waving your firearm. So I ask him if he's okay upstairs and they delete his comment. Exactly. I'm not waving any firearm. Where was that at? Where was that at? I didn't wave any firearm. People being silly. Richard Marchenko warned us about this too. What did he warn us about? You haven't said that yet. You keep talking about Wesley Clark and Thomas McInerney, and they warned us. Warned us of what? Dude, tell me what they warned us of. I've warned people of a lot of things in the intelligence community. What did they warn us of? I asked you that once already. You didn't answer it. Yeah, no, Anna Marie, I know. They've tried to box me in Cape Town. How many embassies have Democrat presidents lost while in power? I don't know the answer to that. If there had been an Iran war in the first place, we wouldn't have had most of the other Middle East. If we'd stamped this out in 1980, none of this other crap would have happened. There would have been no Beirut in 83. No, there never would have been any threat from Saddam Hussein. None of this would have happened yet. Yep. She believes that Jewish space lasers began California wildfires. I think I remember somebody talking about that. To be safe, take care. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Trump could end every war globally tomorrow. The Democrats would be upset and say Trump ruined the arms industry. Spot on. Western Outpost. What do you think is wrong with Tucker and Candace? They seem off, but I don't know what's going on with Tucker. I haven't seen it, but Candace has been on this penchant for a long time. She clearly hates Jews and she has no qualms about saying she hates Jews. She says it all the time. I don't know why. I'm not getting involved in her fight. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm not one of the glitterati celebrities here in America as a podcaster. Not going to get in that fight. Yeah, I'm not going to get in that fight. That's just crazy stuff. And Jesse's right. Alternate opinions and trolling are very different things. Dogzilla, you haven't been expressing alternate opinions. You've been trolling. There's a big difference. Big difference. Different view and opinion are always good, but that you don't know who I am just appears to be trolling. Yep. Another Pearl Harbor, September 11th. Oh, that's what you think this is? Holden, you think this is a Pearl Harbor or September 11th? Dude, seriously? No. First off, we were attacked on Pearl Harbor and September 11th. We launched attacks today, so how did the two even come together? For anyone who fought in Iraq, this is personal. Dogzilla would understand. Yep, I'm with you, Army 3275. Oh, so you're going to leave now. Now you're going to leave because your feelings are hurt? Oh, come on. Give me a break, man. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Of course you're trolling. You know you're trolling. And now you're going to cry about it? Oh, my God. Oh, it's too early in the morning for this stupidity. Anyway, yeah, so, gosh, listen. This is a crazy world, man. Crazy world. Anyway, the plot came today, folks. Yeah. The plot came today, so that was cool. Why is my email keep doing this? It keeps jumping on me here. Why are you doing that? Gee, many crickets. My page just keeps going, flipping back up and down. I'm trying to check my mail. Huh. Sorry, I got some stupid message. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. It's a scam. Somebody sent me a scam. I thought so. It looked like a scam. Anyway, sorry about that. Got distracted there for a minute. Notice the YouTube thingy in the background. You see that, Inkwell Odyssey? Yeah, it came. When you're sticking up for Iran, when some of us had friends killed by these people, is very disrespectful. Yep. Oh, the whiskey is gone. Come on, Arctic. What'd you do with the whiskey, man? Who's crying? Dogzilla's crying, man. He left. Snowflakes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I think that Army 3275 said it best. The comments are highly inappropriate and inconsiderate and disrespectful to veterans who served this country and who lost friends and partners and who suffered. Army 3275 nearly died because of an IED. And to disrespect his service and his sacrifice by playing these stupid games is just, it's very rude. And you haven't been blocked. You haven't been given a timeout. You've just been asked to stop trolling. Harley Quinn, how's it going, man? Well, we already flexed our muscle, man. We already flexed our muscle. It's done. It's done. It happened earlier. Trump sent 30 Tomahawk missiles and 6 bunker buster bombs. Already did it. Already happened. Already happened. Yep. So will it be more? Well, it depends on Iran's approach, folks. If they retaliate, if they get involved here, it depends. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, okay, guys, the Trump thing was an hour and a half of that. And we normally do the night owls now. So I guess we'll shift to a night owls mode. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll do this as if it's the night owls. We're going to start right here. Okay. All right. So don't run off. Don't run off. We're going to start it now. You guys ready? Here we go. Here we go. Hang tight. Second half of the program starting now.
Colonel Wyatt hits the screen, got stories bold and keen. Old soldier, sharp and mean, tells truths they've never seen. Rugby lover with a roar, Africa flowing in his core. YouTube rants they can't ignore, his passion makes his heart soar. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. military mind, keen and wise, truths come out, no disguise, South African skies, in his eyes, hear his voice, no surprise, retired soldier with the fight, in the dark he brings the light, angry rants, truths ignite, join the cause, join the ride. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Enemies knocked on his door, trolls attack, but he's more with each click. Watch him soar on the truth waves, he explodes. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Right now, don't miss the brawl. In the heart of shadows where headlines grow, a name engraved in whispers and undertow. Ambassador, no title, now it seems so stark. Persona non grata written in the dark. Oh, the ties that thread and tangle tight, diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Pages turn but bridges burn so fast. A name in ember solemnly cast. In halls of power, a silent decree echoes in whispers across the sea. Oh, the ties that thread and tangle tight, diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. When walls talk back and windows cry, boundaries drawn under heavy skies. In the space between the set and scene lies a story that cuts unclean. Hold the ties that thread and tangle tight, diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Persona non grata carried far away.
They say, I'm the problem. Really? You want to blame me for everything? Well, I'm not the one sitting on the sidelines complaining about life. You want change? You think the other guy can deliver? Give me a break. I'm the one who got things done. And trust me, you wouldn't want anyone else in charge.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the program. It's now Night Owls, part 2 of this live broadcast. Ooh, quite a few of them today on a Saturday. Wasn't expecting to do that. Yeah, welcome back, folks. Those are still here. We dropped a few people. They didn't like the music. So when I started doing that, it went from 295 to down to 270. 25 people left. So I suspect the trolls left. For those of you who are still here, that was one reason why I did it. Also the fact that we'd gone for an hour and a half, and that seemed long enough to be talking about that topic. Now we're back. We're back. Hopefully troll us. Yep. Yeah, I love the music. I love the music too, man. Good to see you all here. So, folks, welcome back to the program. Army, you're not a troll, Army. Fresh cup of coffee, okay. Fabian, okay. 12 bunker. What's this? 2 bunker. What's this? New York Post. Tulsi Gabbard was in situation. Oh, wow. So they let her in. Migo Multipass. Lilo Dallas Multipass. Yeah. They know. Multipass. Yeah. So, Estelle, welcome to you. Late. You're very late. We've been at this for an hour and a half. It's gotten quite a ways here at 9:45. And so, let me see, I haven't loaded that up yet. I need to load it up. So let me take a look here. I thought I loaded that bad boy. Let me just do it now. Dashboard. Let me load up this video here. So come on, output. There we go. There you go. Okay, cool. So I did a video on the 100,000 plaque. Hope you like it. 100,000 subscriber YouTube plaque arrival. Will my YouTube plaque arrive before time runs out? That's a good title. Countdown to my YouTube plaque. That's a better one. I'll go with that. Okay, there we go. So what does it say? Okay, so we're going to post this video here. So I hope you guys like it. Get your popcorn. Yeah, it's Night Owls, man. Get your popcorn. By the way, Sunday now, well, not yet for me, but it'll be Sunday in 30 minutes. We have 2 new refugees. They're not new. They were part of the original 59, but they'll be on the program for the first time. It'll be anonymous. So their names are Ernst and Sonia. That's what I've named them. They'll be on to talk about their experience. And they're going to find out some very interesting things because this is different. And we're going to talk about refugees who arrive in America and then find employment elsewhere and relocate. So you're going to talk about a relocation here, among other things. So if you tune in for that. Plus, we have the refugee chat. It's Sunday. And we'll talk about a number of things, no doubt about Miss Hepburn. I'm sure people ask questions about that. So anyway, yep. Countdown to my YouTube plaque delivery. There you go. Okay, and I need to generate. Okay, so that's going to go under, what do I put that under? Out and about, and under... What else? I put that under court clips. Okay, done. Okay, so okay, and there we go. Okay, Kathleen, good evening. Thank you so much for your service. History belongs to you, American service and respect. Thank you very much for that. Don't think we realize just how much this Iran thing is going to impact the NC. Oh yeah, is Courtney out of here? Been delivering mail all day. I'm in my 40s now. I'm tired. You need a nap? Courtney needs a nap. Oh, come on, old man. Come on. It's early for you. I mean, it's only 9:30 for you, old man. All right, get some rest. Get some rest. Get some rest, Courtney. All right. Okay. Countdown to my YouTube plaque delivery. Yep. Anyway, so I'm going to watch the Trump address quick. What are you going to watch it? We already did it, Milk Honey. We already played it here. And you're going to watch it. Come on, what's going on here? Stupid thing. It's not news and politics. It's going to be about people and blogs. That's right. Okay, no issues found. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do my YouTube plaque unveiling. You guys wanted a video, so I made a video. Missed the intro video, but could hear as I fed and watered the cats and cleaned their litter. Pitch black outside. Oof, Iran got rasooled. Indeed they did, Tian. They got rasooled. 3:30 Sunday afternoon. Yeah, the days just go by fast, don't they, folks? They go by so fast. Publish. Okay, there we go. Publish. Missed the news. Okay, all right, so my video is published now. Okay, so we've got to wait. It's checking, so. What else we got here? I don't think we realized. Okay. Love you, Colonel. What was that? Love you, Colonel. Hey, I heard that. Love you, Colonel. And the songs. Western Cape. Thank you, Jane van Niekerk. Thank you so much. So Iran has been fully neutralized. I don't think so. I don't think so, Michael. I mean, let's wait and see. I don't believe battle damage assessment that first kicks off. I mean, I like to see a little bit more clarity. Delivering mail. So that's... It's Rasul give him the button. Yeah, I saw Johannes Allen said knew of a South African worker in Iraq was killed by an IED. Yep, it's terrible. It's terrible. Fabian Bridger gave a 35 rand super chat. Thank you for that, Fabian. I appreciate that. Is the alert box on? It is on. Okay. You think Mossad are going to bring the receipts to ANC once they're done with Iran? That's a good question, Kevin. I wonder if they will do that. You know, wouldn't that be awesome if Mossad exposed the ANC? If there's something to expose them, and they just exposed them, wouldn't that be something? That would be incredible. The ANC is burning to say how much they love Iran. If Iran opposing ANC self-preservation, keeping them quiet. Yep. Iran sleeper cells still need to say, yep, they are, thanks to Biden and Obama. I think Mossad, okay, 4:45, the fireworks party was over. Yeah, Trump spoke at 10 o'clock, which would have been 4 a.m., so you missed it. But I can play it again. I mean, I had it here. Let me go back to the X thing. Oh, that's not what I want. Come on. Did you guys like the thumbnail for this stream? I put some effort into that. I used ChatGPT. I don't usually use ChatGPT, but I did that. Where'd the X thing go? Come on, where'd it go? I lost it. Come on, Trump is here somewhere. Let me go back and find him. There it is. It's, okay, here we go. I'll play it for you guys now, okay? Okay, so this is, for those of you who tuned in late, this is what happened earlier, okay? Okay, hang in there. All right, this is what happened earlier. It's rather brief.
In the Iranian...
Here we go. It's very short. Only about 5 minutes long.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Yeah.
For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Yep.
That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate, in particular So many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So there you go. That was President Trump earlier. 3.3 million views. I doubt that it's actually that low. It's probably a lot more than that. So, yeah. No, it's fascinating how people can have such cognitive dissonance about what's going on in the world. It doesn't like that. Let me try this here. Let me try something else here. Trying to get the digits for that. Anyway, where was that? Back here. So in a world where channels are competing for attention or dividing people with biased newscasts, you're a breath of fresh air. Even leftists or your detractors follow your channel. That's true. That's true. A lot of leftists follow my channel. And they attack me. I don't know why. I mean, you know, when people do something wrong, I call them out, even if it's someone in my camp. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been a voice on the right, and I just called her out tonight. Tucker's been a voice in the center and center right, and I sort of called him out tonight. I didn't really, but and I called out Elon Musk when he went off the deep end there. So you know, it's people. Look, you know, this is the problem. A lot of people, Karen, just need to be shown the bugger off bunny. They really need to see the bugger off bunny. Hello, bunny. It's the bugger off Hassa. Yep, straight back. Okay, all right. Okay, well, you were warned, buddy. You were warned. So, since my mods aren't doing this, I'll take care of it myself. Okay, there you go. One message deleted. Keep it up. See how many more get deleted before you get a timeout. Hi, Chris. Next, the serious sanctions and actions against that regime's support, including ANC, and there are... Yeah, you might be right about that. Trump is a president who does what he says he will do. And the left got upset. Did they forget the one popular vote? Well, you know, it's funny because Obama did what he said he was going to do. He was going to fundamentally remake America. What people didn't realize is he was going to destroy America's social fabric and turn into a racist society. That's what he tried to do. He failed on the second one, but he certainly upset racial relations. Yeah, well, Arctic was here earlier. He probably went back to sleep. So, yep, anyway. No, Kathleen, I call him out. Look, and if President Trump does something I disagree with, I call him out. I mean, he's done some silly things too. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm equal opportunity here. I'm also a person who looks for the good in people and looks to promote good news. So, but you don't find a lot of that. Lazy mods. Can a mod just take a piss before warming up the trigger finger? Well, as long as you're not using the trigger finger the same one you used to take a piss, we're good to go. Hey, mental chewing gum, what's going on? Estelle. Watching your plaque video and you live. Okay, Dylan, that's cool. Just talked out YouTube plaque. You love that? Okay. I had to put a big black box over that part because you know somebody's going to try to zoom in and read the QR code for something nice and positive. I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday. Yeah, well, there you go. That's something nice and positive is the video finally got my plaque. So that dang thing was supposed to be a Friday, okay? And then they delayed it till Saturday. UPS, they told me to be here between 2 and 6. So you guys wanted a reveal video, so I thought it'd be cute and clever to go out and go, it's not here yet. I'm still waiting patiently. So I made those comments. And I just kept adding to it because I had more time. So it wound up being a 6-minute video. And then 6 o'clock came and it didn't arrive. And then at 6:35, they updated, said 7 o'clock. And there was a thing that says, click here to see the map. And they sent me a one-time code, one-time pin, and I was able to actually see where the truck was. The truck was like 5 kilometers away from where I'm at. It didn't move. It says real-time updated. So I refreshed the page once and then actually saw it move. Then a little bit later, I got tired of waiting and I refreshed it and it just went back to the page, no more map. And the driver finally showed up at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock at night. So I didn't eat dinner until after 9, or until 9 o'clock is when I ate my dinner. I hadn't eaten all day. I finally ate at 9 o'clock after waiting for that plaque. Yep, so no bird shot, Dylan, no. And the video explains why. Yep. Shame on South African mainstream media, not a word of the attack in USA Iran. Well, it's because they're asleep. Helen, okay, you have to understand they're lazy. South Africa's media is lazy. You won't find journalists in South Africa do what I do for the most part. When Brockenfell happened, it was 2 o'clock in the morning for me. I was up covering it from here. Senegal, same thing. The Witkreuze Monument. The biker rally. Senegal too. Phoenix. Covered all those things. You aren't going to find many journalists in South Africa. They're asleep. News 24, Cockprot 24 doesn't have anybody working through the night. They should have reported this. I see it all the time. I'm up at this hour doing things. I'm looking for news coming from that. There's nothing because they're all sleeping. They're sleeping. They're lazy. How is the world closer to global thermonuclear war when we've just stopped the world's biggest threat to global nuclear war, other than North Korea? Thank you, Estelle. Dus Occam ek CD is the Easter. News doesn't wait for anyone. Exactly, Steampunk Angel. News. So I remember, again, and I don't call anybody out by name on this. There's no point in that. But when I was at the multi-party charter, the Moonshot Pact that John Steenhuisen called for, at Emperor's Palace in Kempton Park in 2023. Is that when it was? I think it was, yeah, 2023. When I was there, I was invited there at press credentials. I went to the event, and it was a very telling experience. Very telling experience. A lot of the journalists for the usual suspects were there, and I remember them bitching and moaning about the food. They were getting free food. It was paid for by the political parties. Free meals. As long as you have credentials, you get a free meal. They pay for it. Political parties pay for it. I mean, that's nice. And they were complaining about the food. But it wasn't good enough. The food was fine. It wasn't my cup of tea. I ate something there. I didn't eat that much, but it was fine. But I was there to get interviews and report the news. So I remember on the day it was supposed to end, around 4 o'clock, that we didn't have the press conference yet, and there were, oh man, the number of journalists that were whining. Oh my God, I can't believe we're still here. If this was a DA event, we would have gone home already. I can't believe this. Oh, will they just hurry up? I'm like, you get paid to be here and report the news, and you want to whine about being here? I think you misunderstand what your job is. Yep. Yes, Israel has nuclear weapons, as far as we know. Estelle says, awesome news. Appreciate what you're doing. Thanks again, Carl. You're welcome, Dougie Ray. Love the gratitude Trump expressed to all those involved. Yep, exactly. Hey, Naomi. Crescent Glow, the Brockenfeld terror attack on the high school. Yes, I covered that. And I covered the idiots from the EFF getting water cannoned by the police. That was classic. I loved it. That's one of the best scenes I've had in South Africa in living memory, is watching those wussies run down the street and scatter when the water cannons got turned on them. Running down the street with golf clubs and pangas and baseball bats and cricket bats trying to attack people. And open a water cannon up and they ran like little biatches. That was so funny. So funny. But the little turds went by and destroyed a car lot. They damaged all these vehicles just because they're evil. Yep. Yes, they will report that Iran was attacked unprovoked. Yep, they will say that by the bad men. Yep. Well, the B-2s that went to Guam should send a clear message to China to not attack Taiwan. Yep. That should send a clear message. Donovan Bolton, now we wait and see will China attack America. No, China's not going to attack America. Nope. Floyd's press conference last week was only allowed to be attended by mainstream media. It didn't allow any independent reporters. Of course not, Dirk. But who wants to listen to that tubblard? Who wants to listen to that guy with pubic hair in his face? Who wants to listen to that guy who can't stick to a political party? Yes, Shanez, you're a little bit late to the show. Yes, the United States fired 30 Tomahawk missiles and dropped at least 6 bunker buster bombs that weigh 30,000 pounds each, 13,500 kgs. Given that a B-2 stealth bomber can only carry 2 of those bombs, that means at least 3 stealth bombers were involved in the attack, as well as 30 Tomahawk missiles. There'll be a briefing at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'll go to bed and get up for that and try to cover that press briefing. I don't know who's going to have it, but I'll try to see. Yep. So I started from the beginning. Thank you, Colonel. If anyone else understands war chief. Well, thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. Cockprot's top story is about some MK party guy starting his own party. Exactly. How did North Korea get miniaturization? Russia? Huh? What? I don't understand your question. Is your question how did North Korea develop a nuclear weapon? Because the Clinton administration allowed it. Yep. Oil, or not oil, food. We saved 1 million North Koreans from starving to death, and let oil get into the country. Plaque looks nice. Well, thank you. I didn't know how clear it looks. I mean, what does it look like? Let me see from here. I mean, on my phone, maybe it'll look nice. Let's see. Hang on a second here. Skip the adverts. Let me see how this looks. Well, I guess it looks okay on the phone, yeah. Okay, cool. It looks better than it does on my screen. That's cool. That's cool. You know, I don't normally do the weekends. I hadn't done the weekends for a couple weeks for now with this with the night owls, but you know, this weekend, here we are, Saturday night. Hope we get the opportunity. What a day. This good history must have been an enormous decision by Trump. It was. And he took the decision after he got back from the G7. You know, the G7 where Cyril Ramaphosa had a scheduled meeting with Donald Trump. Where Trump snubbed Ramaphosa. He didn't. He didn't snub anybody. Total nonsense. Yeah, okay, Steampunk on the PC. Yeah, well, on my phone it was pretty good. It was pretty clear. But on the screen up here it looks a little fuzzy. It might be because I need glasses at this hour. Let me see. Yeah, it's because I need glasses. It's fuzzy because my eyes aren't clear. Oh, yeah. Well, that's different. Wow, I can see. No, he wasn't targeted, Benny Boy. We didn't target infrastructure. We didn't target civilian targets. We didn't hit the power grid. We didn't hit roads, bridges, nothing. Only thing that was attacked were the three primary nuclear sites. That's it. And this is the message that Donald Trump, and I found out about this on Truth Social 2 minutes after it happened. Well, it was long after it happened. They ran out of the country, but 2 minutes after Trump posted. And by the way, Truth Social went down. I don't know if it was swamped by people checking it out or what, or it was targeted, but it went down. We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites at Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran's airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. 7:46. And I saw that at 7:48 and was recording at 7:49. And then did a short video on it and then did a live stream for 7 minutes after that. Yep. Interesting how, hey, Nick, Iran is being dismantled and Enoch Gondwana announced that they're thinking that party canvassing should be tax funded. Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? They want you to pay for it now because they're not getting more money from Tehran. Well, Vanessa, the Trump administration claims that it was totally destroyed. They're saying that Fordow is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. Initial battle damage assessment oftentimes is incorrect, so we have to wait and see. No visuals that are shared. They'll probably share them in the press conference. So, guys, 8 o'clock in the morning, our time, which will be 2 p.m. South Africa time, there'll be a press conference. As long as I can get a feed for it, that's not going to get me a copyright strike, like if the White House covers it or Department of Defense, then I will cover it, and I will have the press briefing, okay? Menage a Qua's back. Where have you been, man? Donkey years, our Caribbean fellow. We haven't seen you in ages. What do you think Iran is going to try to do for revenge? They'll probably activate sleeper cells and try to murder people or do a shooting or in Paris or something like that. Yeah, that's probably what they'll do in response. But they're out of missiles, it looks like. It looks like they're out of missiles. So their attacks in Israel have dwindled to almost nothing. So. And Trump was clever. He let the Israelis take out the air defense so that we could go in unmolested. Dylan says, overworked and underpaid. Well, I'm definitely underpaid this month, man. That's for sure. Looking at the channel's revenue. I don't know if it was a denial of service attack because it might just be that Truth Social was just swamped with the traffic when that happened. Because the word got out instantaneously. It's up now, though. Any retaliation by Iran against the United States will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you. Donald Trump. Yep. So. Yeah, bro. That's for sure. That's for sure. Trying to make big bucks like you. Oh, you're what big bucks? What are you talking about, big bucks, man? You're confusing me with Benny Johnson, with Dave Rubin, with Patrick Ben David, and all those guys. Big bucks. Man, there's no big bucks. There you go. Let me see what time is properties. This is, that's the one. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got that video. Cool. Shout out to Colonel for turning me into a loyal insomniac. Who needs to sleep when I can be wide awake questioning reality? You say it was a denial of service attack, Crescent Glow? I don't know that that's the case. Yeah, I saw the truth. Libs complained that Congress didn't sign off on it like they know anything. Well, the Congress doesn't have to sign on it. Congress didn't sign off on Barack Hussein Obama using drones to murder American civilians in Yemen. They didn't sign off on Barack Hussein Obama firing missiles from drones, from Reapers into the Middle East, into Iraq. Yeah. So when does one declare the world at war? Well, the world's not at war, RJ. What are you talking about? The world's on fire. The world's been on fire for ages. There's a war in Burkina Faso, one in Mali, one in Nigeria. Actually, 3 wars in Nigeria. One in Niger, one in Mali, one in Mauritania, one in Sudan, one in Central African Republic, one in Chad, one in Ukraine, one in Myanmar. That's 11 wars right there. And now in Gaza, that's 12. And now this one's 13. There's lots of wars, man. So the world's been at war for a long time. Depends how you look at it. What's my overall take? My overall take, Menage a Trois, is that Trump sent a message. And everything was a message. The operational security on this mission was unbelievable. It was impeccable. The whole world was hoodwinked. Well, most of the world anyway. All these people running around looking at B-2 stealth bombers, not hiding the fact. See, here's the thing I find funny. No one even questioned. They're B-2 stealth bombers. Yet they showed up on FlightAware. And people are tracking them flying to Guam. Didn't that strike you as odd? Didn't that strike you as odd, guys? I mean, I didn't say anything about it because I'm like, really? Okay, so how do you know that B-2 stealth bombers are flying to Guam? Unless the military disclosed it or FlightAware is telling you where they're at. Didn't anybody question how a stealth bomber, which can't be picked up on radar, is showing up with a transponder telling you its location on its way to Guam? Oh my goodness. Seriously. Brilliant stealth program, campaign, operational security on this mission. Whether the planes flew from Missouri to 15 hours to Iran or they came from Diego Garcia, but I think they came from Missouri. Wherever they came from, everyone was looking the other direction. Over here. Looking over here when the planes are coming from this way. And submarines launching 30 Tomahawks. Yep. Brilliant stuff. They were using GPS. Who is using GPS, Johannes? Who is using GPS? Are you trying to tell me that the pilots on the B-2s were using GPS for their positioning and you're able to break in and figure out that that plane is a military plane on an encrypted frequency? Is that what you're telling me? That's some pretty sophisticated ability, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose of spending billions of dollars developing a stealth program, doesn't it, if that's how it's done? Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Sean said, when Trump initially said within 2 weeks, I thought, okay, so that's tomorrow. Well, that was a good thought, but it was 2 days later. Yep. I talked about genocides in that Holden. You're not paying attention. I said Myanmar. I said Sudan. It's 2 genocides. Don't think people understand the constant military strategy like you're going to tell your enemy you're on your way. Exactly. A lot of soldiers were talking about being surf and turf and chow about to go to war. I don't know what you're talking about, Menage a Trois. What do you mean surf and turf? I never got any special meal before I got shot at. Every time I got shot at, there was no special meal. You know, no special meal. And Thanksgiving wasn't a special meal. All these guys at these bases get special meals. I never got anything like that. So I don't know what that's about. Surf and turf. I don't know. Maybe that happens for some people. Never happened for me. Never got a USO show either. At least not in combat. I went to US shows in peacetime. In fact, one of the best US shows I ever went to was one of the smallest. It was at the club on Fliegerhorst Kaserne in Hanau, and it was SOS, The Sounds of Success. Weekend Girl. What a great song that was. What a great song that was. Don't have time for the weekend. Let me see. Come on, YouTube. Faster. SOS Weekend Girl. Here we go, man. Cool beans. That's an advert. We don't want that. Skip. Song, The Sounds of Success. I went to that concert, USO free. There were only like 30 or 40 people in the place, and it rocked. There was only like, I think, 1 or 2 original band members left in The Sounds of Success by the time I went to that in 93. Might have been 93. Yep. Why not World War III? Well, Russia and China aren't involved. If you're not going to have the regional hegemons involved, it's not a world war. The war is not being fought all over the place. The United States is only fighting in one place. We're not fighting in Asia. We're not fighting in Europe. Come on, man. World War III. What's your definition of world war? Thank you, Maddie. Hey, Quagga. No, I don't think other countries will get involved to support Iran. Domestic intelligence with Jack Poso looks like they showed the drops and hell the bunker. I'd be careful because they're showing old footage on many sites. They're also showing the Israeli footage. Fox News was showing the Israeli footage of the Ferdal site or the Fordal site. It wasn't from the mission. I don't think those cameras have been shown yet. Yep. You can't track U.S. stealth if they don't want you to. It's hard for U.S. military radar to track them. Exactly. Thank you, Army. That's why I'm saying it's just funny. How do they track them? Unless they want to be tracked. Menage a Trois, your membership. Sorry, I missed that. Lefty's going to lose their... Oh, they've already lost it, Vanessa. They've already lost it. She just budge the muscles and no one will come to help her out. I agree with you, Johannes. Shannon Edwards says, good morning. What has been the rest of the Middle East countries' response? They're asleep. They're not up yet. So we haven't heard from them. We haven't heard from them. Go ahead, weekend girl. Have some fun on the weekend. What will the outcome be if China gets involved? Well, that would be very bad, Yaku. That would be very, very bad. The last time China got involved, we had a 3-year war. And we could have nuked China, but we didn't do it. If we thought the standoff was impotent, we do now. A demonstration actually how slipshod we are. If America tells the ANC there are bombers on the way, they would probably be in the same building because how slow they are. What? Hey, Mander, what's up? Wow, better USO show than what's this? Hang on. Then in Crete, I still have the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders photo. Wow, okay, I've never been to Crete. That was incredible. It's like I think it's the only USO show I've ever been to, if I remember correctly. But it was, I couldn't believe it. I was like, the sounds of success are coming to Hanau, to my concern, where I work at. That's a no-brainer. Man, it was awesome. They were incredible. Yep. It's the only thing, other than that, the only other time I used the USO was like to make phone calls when I was a private back in the 1980s in Germany. It was $3 per minute. Went to the USO, which was above the snack bar on Rose Barracks, what used to be the horse barns, converted into a snack bar and offices and a gymnasium. But I was over the snack bar. It was upstairs. And they had like a library, and it was USO. They had a pool table and stuff in there. And you could make a phone call to the States. They had the Bundespost telephone line. But it cost you $3 per minute. Now, bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that at the time it cost me $3 per minute to make a phone call, I was making $159 every 2 weeks. So a 10-minute phone call was $30. That was 20% of my take-home pay for 2 weeks to make a phone call. So obviously, I only called occasionally. I called my mom, called back. There's only people for me to call anyway. So yeah, call back, checked how things are on the farm. But I usually did it like, I'm trying to remember if I did it a couple times a month or once a month or something like that, because it's just a lot of money. $3 a minute. 60 Rand a minute to make a phone call. And I was making no money. That's what USO charged me, but that's what they were paying the Bundespost. So a lot of outdated or even correct footage being shown by some major news outlets. Exactly, Dirk. That's what I'm saying. So I haven't seen any footage of the attacks, and I doubt that anyone has the footage right now. It's probably classified. Yep. Hope it'll be a super day. Well, I hope so too. World Bank want to give the ANC $500 billion. I don't think so. $500 billion? You mean 500 billion Rand? No, the World Bank has never made a loan of $500 billion to anybody. That's never happened. No, where are you getting that from, Bach and Terry? There's no way it's $500 billion. You're welcome, Pete Schmidt. I wonder if Naledi Pandor will scream USA is now trying to kill her. Jabba the Hutt. Solo. Terrat God. Gosh. Yeah, phone cards in Iraq got expensive too. Well, so when I was in Iraq for the Gulf War the first time, we used all kinds of things like mobile subscriber equipment to go through switchboards and get phone calls out. It was incredible. It was wild. Crete is a great island to see. Yeah. Colonel should have been on jump status. 150 a month was a lot of money in the 80s when I was at Bragg. Yeah, but Jesse, I was in the 80s, I was in the Signal Corps, and there was no reason for me to be on jump status. It wasn't an enlistment option. My enlistment options were the bonus for my VEAP, Veterans Educational Assistance Program. Hey, Phoenix, 140 Rand. Thank you for that. So my VEAP was the $12,000 bonus on top of my $8,100, and of course I put $1 in. The VA put $2, get $8,100. So $2,700, $5,400. My contribution, their contribution, and then the $12,000 bonus for taking a crappy specialty in the Signal Corps. So that was my $20,100 for the army for education, and then the other option I was offered was station of choice. I wanted to go to Germany. I got station of choice, so I went to Germany. Yeah, it was Signal Corps 31 Charlie. I was a 31 Mike, Jesse. 31 Mike, multi-channel communications equipment operator. ANGRC 50s, ANGRC 103s. And I was signed to Charlie Company 8th Signal Battalion my entire time in Germany from 1984 to 87. My unit changed. It went from a small company, about 150, to a company of over 500 people when we reorganized. But I stayed in the same platoon in the same company. 2nd platoon. Yep, Charlie Company. Radio relay, man. Signal's best relay. Charlie 212 was my truck. Yep. Good night, Army. Okay. Yep. Yeah, Jesse. In Arizona, you wouldn't be in Sierra Vista, would you? Yep. Definitely not going to loan the ANC that much money. Not enough couches for Seal to hide it. Dogzilla just donated $100. Thank you. He says, thank you for making those donations last night. You're welcome, Dogzilla. But it's something I'm very leery about because, I mean, there are people who aren't honest on Back a Buddy and GoFundMe. And I don't know the bona fides of people, but, that lady asked me to do it and I did it. And she should have almost enough money now to take care of what she needs to. But then you get people who are cynical too. When I saw the story with Zoe and she's deaf and couldn't hear, born prematurely, and her mother said they needed 32,000 rand for the operation. I didn't know if they'd already gotten the diagnosis and they knew that, but turns out that wasn't the case. They get the diagnosis and it's going to take more. So they bought the hearing aids and they paid for the medical appointments, but now they need to raise more money. So people get cynical about that. But anyway, but thank you for the $100 super chat. That's very kind of you. That made a big improvement of what super chat was doing tonight. Commission of inquiry. What happened to Iran? Yeah. What happened to Iran is that the mullahs got buggered. They got buggered. The bugger off bunny got him. Was dependent wife for 18 years. I still miss the life. Sounds nuts. Yeah, no, I get that. You were a family member. I appreciate that. 18 years. What happened to 18 years? Did you guys split before you got to 20? I hope you got part of that retirement check. A small world. It is, Jesse. It's a very small world. So one thing I learned very early in the military is that, and this isn't really the case for my enlisted time because I almost never saw anybody from my enlisted time again. It's odd. My basic training, I never saw anybody from basic training ever again. 1983, I went to Fort Leavenworth, or Fort Leonard Wood for basic training, and I've never seen a single one of those people ever again. It's crazy. And then I went to AIT, and I saw a couple of those people who showed up at a few different times, like Zaroslik, I saw him again, a couple other people, but for the most part, of the hundreds of people in my AIT, my Advanced Individual Training at Fort Gordon from 1984, never saw them again. Then I went to Germany, and I actually have seen some of those people again, occasionally, but very rarely. And I've been in touch with one. Tim Priest was my roommate, really great guy, fantastic basketball player, white guy, he could play basketball. And he went to junior college and got injured. His brother was in a bar fight, and he was defending his brother, and he got hurt, and he could never play again. But Tim Priest was one of the best basketball players I ever saw. Such a talented guy. Such a good-looking dude, too. Such a ladies' man back in the day. I was kind of still young and naive and innocent looking. But Tim and Bob Colville were my roommates in Charlie Company. And yeah, and then we all wound up moving off post at one time or another. Tim has been in touch with me a few years ago, and I hadn't heard from him in almost 30 years. And we've been in touch. We chatted a few times, but for the most part, I didn't see people. But I learned before I became an officer, I realized that you should treat people well, and I was right because it's a big army, but it's not. It's a big military, but it's not. It's a big world, but it's not. If you are disrespectful and rude to people, or you treat them poorly, that will come back in the future. Because it all comes around, folks. It all comes around. And it's important to treat people well. So I learned that lesson a long time ago. So that's what makes it so difficult with trolls and the games people play in social media. Thank you for the super chat, Dogzilla, especially after the way you're behaving earlier. A dependent wife. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Gene says the U.S. constructed 3 new uranium open pit mines in Iran on Sunday, June 22nd. Does America use colorblind skies and signals like South Africa used to? Well, we don't do signal flags. It's radios and computers. 45 minutes for Fort Huachuca. Well, okay. Yeah, I liked living down there. I love the Chiricahua Mountains. Went hiking up there. It was awesome. Really, really loved it. Okay. Have you ever met General Michael Kurilla? No, I've never met him. Never met him. Okay, 500 million. Bach and Terry. That's more like it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's $500 million. Yeah. You said 500 billion. That's $500 billion. Got to run, says Stephen Nordke. Okay, some lefty judge is going to order Trump to rebuild Iran's nuclear bunkers. 53 years. Wow, functions by radar. Okay, so he was probably already in when you met him and then retired from there. Wow, 53 years. My goodness. Man, I'm drawing an old audience. If you've been together for 53 years, you got to be in your 70s. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. I'm on the Colonel Cafe Clutch. As the Colonel is willing, I can send him my details to send you. Yeah, if you guys want. I've got someone asking for details, but I have to have people's permission. I don't give out anyone's number or contact information without someone else without permission. Mandarin says, can comment on how Iran hasn't managed to launch air defense. It's weird they had all those jets, but they didn't get them up. There were reports of Iran flying MiGs. Okay, so, well, first off, air defense is primarily ground-based missiles or AAA. So that's most air defense. Air interdiction is what you're talking about. So the Israelis jammed their radars. The Israelis took out their radars, initial strikes. They fired long-range missiles and rockets without even being in Iranian airspace. And they probably flew low, nap of the earth, below the radar flights over Jordan and Iraq in order to get to Iranian airspace. And then popped up to launch their attack, and it gave the Iranians only moments to respond. And by the time the Iranians realized what was going on in the middle of the night, remember that they don't exactly have pilots sitting on strip alert ready, to get in the plane and fly 30 seconds later for the most part. So they were caught complete with their pants down. And it was brilliant because they did this when Trump was talking about negotiating, and he set up negotiations with the Iranians. And so while the Iranians were moving to the negotiating table, the Israelis took out all their early warning of air defense. So there's not much they could do to mount things. So the Israelis took that out, which gave survivability to their aircraft that were attacking Iraq or Iran, which was smart. But that took precedence over taking out mobile launchers and rocket sites, which fired hundreds of missiles into Israel over the next few days. But now those are mostly gone, either destroyed or they fired them all. So, yeah. So, no, that's why there was virtually no response. Daffodil, go Trump. This has been a long time coming. All you Americans carrying on about this are really misguided. This is exactly what was needed. Yep, stop being babies. 100% Daffodil. That's my point. This is 46 years in the making. Now the libs will put Iranian flags away and take the Palestinian flags out again. You've known him from the time you were 16. Wow, that's awesome, Functions. That's sweet. Nice to hear that. I will send details later. Have to get off to work. Okay, what scenario could lure Trump to further engage Iran? A counterattack by the Iranians, an attack on U.S. interests, an attack on military or economic interest or shipping, that would cause Trump to spank them. Their unwillingness to surrender, that could cause them to strike. Yeah, there's lots on the table. The Israelis flew over two nations to, well, how do you think they got there, Stefan? Look at the map. How else did they got there? Could they fly down the Red Sea and around the Saudi Peninsula and up the Arabian Gulf to get to Iran? Of course they flew over other countries. And they did the same thing when they attacked Iraq in 1981 and took out their nuclear program in a bold precursor to what we see now. Wow, that is one of a class of flyboys. That is great tactics. Thank you, Info. You're welcome, Mandarin. He had 3 something on his EO in February, and he just did the ANC a solid by ruining the Iran issue. Yep. Menage Quest says, when it comes to geopolitics, I go to you rather than listening to the news. Well, thank you for that. Slippery Pickle, what's up, man? There's an OG. The Reckies use colorblind guys for the long night vision. I've got a friend who's colorblind. If he looks at traffic lights, the top or bottom, to tell you whether it's red or green. Well, I don't know that being colorblind gives you great vision. I had incredible night vision and hearing. What a detriment that was to my ability to sleep. I had incredible night vision. Yep, I could see anything for ages, no matter how low the visibility. So, in the Gulf War, after we set up the advance site out there, an advance party, I had to go to the brigade headquarters to pick up some overlays. So we went out, and visibility that night was, illumination was 2%. I think it was 2%, yeah, really low. So we're not allowed to use lights. All you can use is blackout drive. On a Humvee, blackout drive is a little light that's like this wide and about that long, and it's on the front, and it's got this little dome plastic thing over it, and it points down at the ground, and you're up in the Humvee, and it illuminates maybe like less than a meter in front of you. And it's like very weak. I mean, this light here that you're going to see from my clock is brighter, and that on air is like infinitely brighter. In my face, you couldn't even see my face in that illumination. It'd be more like back here where the fingers are moving like that, but maybe not even that good. But I could see that. So we went out to the brigade headquarters, picked up the overlays that I needed to work on, and we drove back. And we're driving, and so if you know how to navigate, it isn't just visibility, it's also concept of distance, time and distance covered, and also sound plays a role. So we're driving back, and there's nothing to tell us we're going straight. You could be going like this, you can't tell in the dark. So I got him going the right way, and I'm like, okay, a little bit to the right. Okay, keep going that way now. Straighten out your wheels. And we drive back, and it's a few kilometers. It's a ways. It's not like right around the corner. And there's no hills, there's no roads, there's no landmarks, there's no trees. It's just flat desert with no visibility. No markers, blackout drive lights. We're coming back. And we drove for a little bit, and I said, stop. He said, why, sir? Did we hit something? I said, no, just stop. Okay, we're going to have to turn probably about another 20 meters up here. He goes, how do you know that? How can you see that? I said, well, first off, I've judged how far we've traveled, the speed you're going, because we're going pretty slow. And I said, okay, turn off the engine. So he turned off the engine. I said, listen, do you hear that? Over here? That's the generators from the Tactical Operations Center. It's a 30 kW generator. You hear it? Okay. All right, I'm sorry. It wasn't 30K. It was a 5 kW. Sorry, yeah, I'm thinking of the division. And so we turned the vehicle back on. We went about 20 meters. I said, stop. I got out. I walked out. And I had my red lens on my flashlight. I turned it on low power. I looked, and there was the marker within a couple of feet for our Tactical Operations Center, because we put little markers out at the end of the little trail. My goodness, I'm muted. Oh my goodness. How long was that off? Oh my goodness. How long was that off? I told a really good story and it was off. I must have bumped the phone, the mic. Sorry about that, guys, from the marker. Oh, okay, it wasn't very long then. Okay, so yeah, I must have come up on... Must have done that. Okay, so from the marker. Okay, so I get out of the vehicle, there's the marker, and I put my torch on the back of my load-bearing equipment. I click it on the pistol belt on the bottom with the red lens. So I'm walking forward. He follows me into the path down a few hundred meters to the Tactical Operations Center, because I can't let him drive in the dark. He could run over somebody. He can't see. And we park there, and we get out, and he goes, sir, how did you do that? And I said, well, it's navigation, brother. It's navigation. You've got to have a sense of how far you've traveled. So, look, I don't know what causes this, but some people, and I'm one of those people, just have an innate sense. Oftentimes, regardless of what's going on, I could have been napping. I could be working for hours, not paying attention. I could be tired. I could have a headache. And oftentimes, I'll know what time of day it is within a few minutes. Within a few minutes. It's an innate ability. It's just there. I'm not boasting. I'm just telling you a fact. And when it comes to navigation, I can't even recall ever being lost in my life, regardless of the terrain, regardless of where I've been. The only time I ever wasn't lost but couldn't figure stuff out is that when I was in Austria, in Salzburg, trying to go to Italy, and kept driving around, and the damn exit didn't tell me the town I was going to. Well, it was because the town that was listed on the map, or on the road sign, was actually a smaller town, and didn't list the town all the way at the end that I was trying to get to the end of Austria to get to Italy. So we were like, what the hell? Finally, we pulled at a rest stop after turning around twice. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Okay, that little town, that's what's on the sign? You're supposed to put the big town on the sign. And so we took off and we got it. Internal compass, some just don't have it. Yeah. Well, I understand how people get lost all the time. I mean, I give people directions, and I give really good directions, and they get lost. But I love how people give directions in Africa. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you go for like a half an hour, and there'll be this tree stump on the left-hand side, and you turn there, you just drive, and you'll find it. What? What? What are you talking about, man? At night on yachts, we use a red illumination so one isn't blind on overlap watches, so the people coming on duty have time to adjust. Yep. If enough crew 4 hours for and off. Yep. Caitlin always gets off. Well, I don't want to be, accused of being a misogynist or accused of having stereotypes against women, but my experience has been that most people that I find that can't follow directions just happen to be a certain gender. And I'll leave it at that. Oh, indeed. Yeah. GPS and Google Maps were the greatest invention for a certain gender. Oh, I'm telling you, man, it was a lifesaver. Boy, Google Maps has really made a difference. But I'll be honest. Look, I use that stuff a lot, especially when I'm traveling. Not because I get lost or don't know where I'm going, but because I find it very helpful. It's a lot easier than me trying to estimate time in my mind, in my head, It's pretty cool. I like to see, that's why I like GPS in the car. I like to see how much time is left, how much further to go, how am I progressing, what's happening ahead, traffic updates, stuff like that. The hate speech be real. If you hit the great tree stump, you've gone too far. Okay. Yeah, in South Africa, we just follow the road with the potholes when giving directions. Well, that's a fair point there. That is a fair point there. Functions by Radar says, hey, I resemble that family. Our family joke is you can get lost in a circle. Some people can. It's amazing. The other thing I find is that it's fascinating. And again, this is a gender-based thing. It's not universal, but it seems more common with gender. So I have no idea what I had for lunch on January 5th, 1994. But there are people who know what you had for lunch on January 5th, 1994. They just know. Remember when we were at this place and you did that? I'm like, huh? Who are you? Don't about? I don't remember that. Oh, yeah. They're like, there's a photo. Well, I guess you're right. I did have shrimp. Not really an important event in my life, what I had for breakfast on January 5th, 1994. Not really an important event. Yep. It's not really an important event, ladies and gentlemen. What's important is the day I was commissioned, the day I went to combat, the day my dog died. I don't have a dog anyway. You get my point. So, yeah. Those who said no boots on the ground are still crying. I'm sure they are. Wife used the Google Maps to go to the toilet. Bobby, and you're sleeping on the couch tonight. Iranian state media is saying Trump missed and just hit the entrance and exits. Do you believe him? No, I don't. If you've seen what a bunker buster bomb does, even if he only hit the entrance, God, it's a 30,000 pound bomb. Oh my, let's see if I can find a video of a bunker buster bomb. I'm not going to play it because YouTube will give me a strike or they'll give me a timeout because it's dangerous weapons, even though it's probably on YouTube. Let me see. Bunker buster bomb. Let's see. No, there's none showing explosions here. I was hoping to see one. Wait, there's one. Air Force 130. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Okay, hang on. Let me see. Oh, these are the old ones. These are AGM 130s. I'm watching a bomb hit the entrance, a bunker buster bomb hit the entrance to a bunker. Even if you hit the entrance, that's not a good day. No, we've used bunker bombs before. Not the first time. Not the first time they've been used in combat. They've been used before. Julia says, I can probably admit that I don't have any sense of direction. I got lost in Joburg twice before GPS. What a nightmare. Oh, that's scary. Loretta. For your next Starbucks, thank you. And for my service, you're very welcome, Loretta. Thank you so much. This is a computer game. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It won't work. We have bunker busters in Afghanistan. Yep. Hey, Neil's Han Dynasty. Yeah, exactly. They were been used a few times. Cave in is a thing. Exactly. America's are 14,000 warplanes. Russia has 4,500. Yep. I relate things that happen this way. My kids were this age, or yeah, exactly. Okay, but I'm telling people, remember, what you had for breakfast or what you wore on a certain day. I'm like, seriously, women often cause GPS to have an emotional breakdown. What is your view on info on ISIS extremist camps in South Africa? Other than some company doing training, I don't know that they exist in South Africa. Dam busters. Okay, YouTube is full of bunker buster. I know, but and it's also full of weapons videos. But I didn't wave a weapon on camera, and I got a 24-hour timeout for waving a firearm on air by AI. So you just got to be careful. Can't do that. Show the bunker busters leveling the top of a mountain like the intelligence agency said Osama bin Laden was hiding in early in the war. Nope, not going to show that. Not going to show that. We had Osama bin Laden. You know that, right? We had him. We knew where he was. We were listening to his radio or to his telephone conversations. We had him. We had him on tape. We knew it was him. We had his IMEI number for his mobile. We knew it for his handset. We knew it was. We had him. And Obama was too much of a coward to take him out. Then a congressman ran their mouth and disclosed classified information. He never used the phone again. The rest of his life. Never used the phone again. Massive ordnance penetrator. Okay. Moab. It's different. The mother of all bombs is a different bomb. Yep, he had a medical device for his liver issues, and we knew where he was. Yep, we did. They didn't take him out. Can't even remember which war last Saturday. I'm with you on that, Loretta. South Africa had to enforce RICA for all cell phones because of the ISIS training camps in the Western Cape. Not American yet, but feel so proud to become one in the future. Good morning, Rion Boyson. How are you? Carlos Freda. Everybody's getting up now on a Sunday morning. Sunday. Let that sink in. That would have been good, Glenn, if Trump said, let that sink in. Clinton administration. Yeah, they could have got him during the Clinton administration too, but it was a police action then. It was criminal activity, not terrorism. Yep. Yeah, Slippery Pickle says, YouTube realizes the lethality of your bare hands. What type of ordinance is PG? How will Iran bomb the USA, Claudia? They don't have the delivery means to bomb the USA. They could try to attack our military bases in the Middle East, but then they engage other countries and put themselves at risk with those other countries and leading them to a war. Also, they haven't got much left in the way of missiles or rockets or drones to attack us. The Israelis have destroyed most of it. Shanez Abrahams, did you ever marry? Yes, I did. 16 wives, 43 children. I'm single-handedly browning Africa. I've got wives all over Africa. Yep. Michael Clody says, top of the morning to you. Okay, J-Dams. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that would hurt. Good morning from Luderitz. Oh my goodness, Kobus Boss. If you're in Luderitz, I've never been. Always wanted to go, but it's way out there, man. It's a long trip. I'm thinking about going to Namibia, but it's going to have to come up with some money for that. And I have to bite the bullet and pay for the stupid visa. Turds charging me a visa. So I can go to Rehoboth and meet the Bosters and then go to Luderitz. Yep. Thank you, guys. Top of the morning. No, ISIS isn't the reign for the RICA thing. The RICA thing has a lot more to do with international standards than anything else. So, yep. U.S. pushed for that stuff. U.S. pushed for that. Yep. Thank you, guys. Bless you, bless you. All right. Wow, we've been at this for nearly 3 hours. Can you believe that, folks? Nearly 3 hours. Wow. And the first half of the show was all about Trump. All about Trump. It's past midnight here in Georgia, and my old butt needs to get up early. Morning on the other side of the world. Well, I'm at the same time as you, Grandpa. Or Grandma. Al-Qaeda is a bigger threat to USA. No. Al-Qaeda is not a threat to USA. They've been decapitated. They're not. ISIS is not a threat to USA. Al-Qaeda is not a threat to USA. That doesn't mean they can't become a threat. Yeah, just saying what the current situation is. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. You're having fun. Yeah. Anyway, but let's wrap it up. I've got to get up now and do a fourth broadcast in the morning. So 8 o'clock, the press conference, if I can cover it, if it's available from the Pentagon, I will cover it with Hegseth and the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff about what's going to happen next. See, it's Grandma. Okay, well, there you go. I don't know. That's why I said Grandpa or Grandma. I don't know. I can't tell who's who by from these usernames. Mornay. I hope you got more money, Mornay. Okay. According to the Treasury, we are close to sorting out our gray list issues. I don't buy it either. don't buy it. Anyway, all right, folks, I'm going to rack it here. Okay, so tomorrow we've got, well, today, it's later today now, we've got 8 o'clock potentially, the briefing on Iran from the Pentagon. Then at 11 o'clock, which is 5 o'clock in South Africa, we've got an interview with Ernst and Sonia, not their real names, part of the 59ers, the original refugees, about their experience here in America. Then the news, then the refugee chat, and then I can take a break. Have a wedding next weekend that I have to go to, but I don't approve. Okay. Letter of intent. What letter of intent? Okay. According to Treasury, we're close to sorting out a gray list. No, the Treasury doesn't have the gray list. That's the Financial Action Task Force, FAFTA. They don't. The Treasury doesn't control the gray listing thing. Okay. Have a good night. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit that like button. We didn't get many likes. 5,300 people tuned in. We only got 445 likes. That sucks. What's up that all about? Could have done a lot better than that. All right. Cheers, guys. And thanks for tuning in. Well, we've nailed Iran. Long overdue. 46 years in the making. Finally. Cheers. Your brother's married a 20... Your daughter is married a 50-year-old guy. Okay. What's wrong with 50-year-old guys? Gotcha. Cheers.